Chapter 2101. Puppet. Tion's eyes flashed with an obscure light as he said slowly, "So, that kid was a puppet. I actually didn't realize it. Even Zhu Qian didn't have the ability to let a puppet have human thoughts. How did you do it?" Tion was very curious about this question. If he could control this ability, from then on, there would only be one ruler in Spirit God Continent. You want to know? Yin Luofeng's lips curled up. "Perhaps you won't have the chance in this lifetime." Tion's expression turned cold as the storm that surged out of his body became stronger. In the dark void, a thunderclap came crashing down, smashing a pitch-black pit on the ground. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Fenger, be careful. When Tion's power erupted, it was as if there was an invisible hand that destroyed everything around him. At that moment, Yin Xiao. He couldn't care less about fighting with Tion. He immediately turned around and protected Yin Luofeng in his arms. He pressed her head tightly against his shoulder. The moment the power destroyed, those with weaker defenses were directly sent flying by the aura. Under the horrified gazes of the others, they gradually lost their breath. Tion didn't even move his hand, and those god lords lost their lives. How could such a powerful power not be terrifying? Qin Tianlao's first thought was to escape. However, his legs kept trembling and he couldn't move. He could only look at Tion in horror. Fortunately, Tion didn't care about him at all. He didn't even bother to look at him. His eyes were fixed on Yin Luofeng, who was protected in Yin Zhao's arms. His expression didn't change. "Tell me, what is the relationship between you and Zhu Qian?" At the same time, Feng Jin also turned his head. His handsome face revealed a puzzled expression. "Miss, you know me too?" Yin Luofeng's body gradually left Yin Zhao's embrace. The corners of his lips curled up slightly. "I know you, but I also don't know you. Logically speaking, I should call you Master." "Master?" Feng Jin's expression became more and more puzzled. It was obvious that he was thinking about something. "I keep feeling that I have forgotten something," but he couldn't remember what it was at the moment. "Zhu Qian, you're actually still alive?" Tion's gaze finally landed on Zhu Qian again. There was an obvious flash of surprise in his eyes. Zhu Qian was only a piece of trash right now. So, why was he able to survive under his own power? Compared to her, I must kill you first. Very soon, he regained his senses and a murderous aura surged out. His body was like a bolt of lightning as he shot towards Feng Jin. Feng Jin was still immersed in his own thoughts and didn't notice Tion in front of him. His brows were tightly furrowed as he thought hard about the things he had forgotten. "Be careful," Yin Luofeng hurriedly shouted. Yin Xiao was also about to make a move. However, at this moment, a silver figure pounced from afar and blocked in front of Feng Jin. The opponent's attack also passed through his body and exploded in his chest. Puff! The young man had a head full of silver hair, and his long robe fluttered in the wind. There was a mournful smile on his face as he fell from the sky like a beautiful flower petal into Feng Jin's embrace. Chapter 2102. It's you? Feng Jin's heart ached when he saw the pale-faced youth in his arms. That kind of pain felt as if it had crossed an entire century, causing his heart to clench fiercely. Mo Qiancheng? Yin Luofeng also saw the youth in Feng Jin's arms and was stunned. "Why are you here?" Cough, cough. Mo Qiancheng coughed as blood flowed continuously from his mouth. His originally clear eyes were now covered in a faint white mist. He turned his head with difficulty and stared unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng. "Actually, I should have realized a long time ago that you are not Zhu Qian," he laughed. His laughter was filled with bitterness and helplessness, as well as a deep pain that ordinary people couldn't detect. "But I've been deceiving myself all this time. Even though you have told me many times that you were lying to me, I have always told myself that you are Zhu Qian, because I have waited for so many years. Even if it was just a fantasy." Mo Qiancheng slowly closed his eyes as a teardrop fell from the corner of the youth's eye. After a long time, he opened his eyes and looked at Feng Jin with infatuation and longing. "Zhu Qian, I have finally met you. Even though your personality has changed greatly, you are still the man that I want to pursue for the rest of my life. For you, I have no regrets in life and death." Feng Jin's hand froze, and he lowered his eyes slightly. "Even though I don't remember you, I clearly know that there is definitely an unusual relationship between us. So, I will not let you die. Zhu Qian, I never thought that I would be able to see you in this lifetime. I also never thought that I would die in your arms. This kind of ending is the best for me." After he said this, Mo Qianchang slowly closed his eyes. His breathing was very weak, as if it would disappear at any time. "I said that you cannot die, so no one can let you die." At this moment, Feng Jin didn't sense the tremble in his voice. He only knew that he couldn't let Mo Qianchang die here. "Move aside." Yin Luofeng slowly walked to Feng Jin's side and said, "Let me take a look at his injuries." Feng Jin was stunned. He turned his head and met the woman's clear eyes. He nodded and said, "Okay." After he finished speaking, he had already retreated to the side. However, his brows were still filled with worry. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels have been shattered, and he has no way to recover. Yin Luofeng looked at Mo Qiancheng's injuries and continued, "However, there is another way to save him." As soon as she finished speaking, Yin Luofeng raised her hand, and a dark green fruit appeared in her hand. "This is something I obtained from the Beast Continent's Dragon Clan. It has the effect of reviving the dead. As long as the time of his death is less than an hour, I can save him." As he spoke, Yin Luofeng's heart throbbed. If she had rushed back to the 7 continents earlier, perhaps Hongluan would not have died. Even if she was already dead, she could still pull her back from the netherworld. Yin Luofeng no longer thought about it. He took a deep breath and forcefully stuffed the fruit into Mo Qiancheng's mouth. "I know that you're not dead. Eat this fruit, and you will recover immediately." Mo Qiancheng raised his head tiredly. He turned his head and saw Feng Jin's sorrowful eyes. He slowly nodded. When Feng Jin heard Yin Luofeng's words, his heart was already at ease. He slowly walked to Mo Qiancheng's side and held his hand tightly. Then, he turned to look at Yin Luofeng. Chapter 2103. Thank you, Mississippi. If you can save him, I will do anything for you unconditionally for the rest of my life. At this moment, there was only one thought in Feng Jin's mind, and that was to never let Zhu Qian leave him no matter what. However, just as Feng Jin's heart settled down, the hand that he had been holding gradually slipped and fell to the ground with a thud. "What's going on?" Yin Luofeng's expression changed, and she quickly stepped forward. She grabbed Mo Qiancheng's chin tightly and forced him to open his mouth. At that moment, a small, dark green fruit fell from Mo Qiancheng's mouth, completely unharmed. Yin Luofeng's eyes gradually darkened when she saw this. "It looks like he's determined to die. He had purposely not taken the fruit that I had given him." Feng Jin's handsome face turned pale at this moment. His eyes stared at Mo Qiancheng in disbelief as he asked in a trembling voice why. Suddenly, Feng Jin seemed to remember something and immediately turned towards Yin Luofeng. "Didn't you say that a dead person can be saved within an hour? Then think a way to save him now. As long as you can save him, I'll promise you anything. Even if he had to give up his life, he would be willing to give it up." Yin Luofeng bent down and picked up the fruit. She then placed it next to Mo Qiancheng's lips, and the spiritual energy in her palm gradually gathered towards the fruit. In an instant, the fruit turned into a green liquid and slowly flowed into Mo Qiancheng's mouth. However, Mo Qiancheng seemed to have made up his mind to die. Even though he had already lost his life, he still could not allow the liquid to flow into his mouth. Yin Luofeng's brows were tightly furrowed. After a long pause, she withdrew the liquid which was enveloped in spiritual energy. Her expression was very solemn. There's no way to save him." It wasn't that she was incapable of saving Mo Qiancheng. Rather, to a person who was determined to die, no matter how capable she was, she could not possibly save him from King Yama's palace. Boom! Feng Jin seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. His handsome face was now completely pale and colorless. He lowered his head to look at a youth lying in a pool of blood and the pain in his heart poured out uncontrollably. Why did you do this? Feng Jin lowered his body and slowly lifted Mo Qianxing up from the ground. His expression was filled with gentleness and regret that he had never shown before. Are you doing this to take revenge on me? Although I don't know how I've hurt you, I know that you're the one I've been searching for. His slender fingers gently caressed that handsome face. His expression was very gentle. Do you think you can leave me like this? No, you won't get what you want in this lifetime. Feng Jin carried Mo Qianxing's corpse and slowly walked towards the back. As he walked to Yun Luofeng's voice, he paused for a moment. Using a voice that only the two of them could hear, he said, "Even if I don't remember the things of the past, however, in the instant that Mo Qianxing died, I suddenly remembered a fragment. I seem to have left something behind in the Endless City. That thing will definitely be of help to you." Endless City? Yun Luofeng was startled. Wasn't this Endless City her secret in the Wuhui continent? Zhu Qian left something in Endless City? It seemed that she had to make a trip back to Endless City after leaving this place. Chapter 2104. You want to leave? Yu Tian snorted coldly, intending to stop Feng Jin and Mo Qianxing from leaving. However, at this moment, Yun Xiao suddenly stepped forward and blocked Yu Tian's attack. Yu Tian's eyes were cold as he shouted, "Get lost!" Boom! His strength was very strong, so strong that it was enough to destroy heaven and earth. However, under his powerful strength, Yun Xiao only took 2 steps back as he stared expressionlessly at the old man in front of him. Yu Tian's eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment. He hadn't expected Yun Xiao to be able to block his attack. However, he quickly calmed down. The hurricane lifted his long robe, making him look like an immortal. Yun Xiao. Yun Luofeng looked at Yun Xiao worriedly as he clenched his fist tightly. Others couldn't tell, but Yun Luofeng, who understood Yun Xiao very well, knew that the attack just now had already injured Yun Xiao's body. He just wouldn't show it. This man, no matter how badly injured he was, wouldn't show a trace of it in front of the enemy. Instead, he endured it. You better not be a busybody. Otherwise, after I kill Zhu Qian, the first person I will kill will be you. Yun Xiao didn't reply and took the initiative to attack. His speed was very agile, like a leopard in the dark. His cold eyes carried a decisive sharpness. Yun Luofeng looked at Yun Xiao, who was fighting with Yu Tian, then turned to Long Yin and asked in a low voice, "How much longer until your Dragon Clan leader arrives?" "I'm not sure. If the clan leader doesn't encounter any unexpected situations along the way, there should be about an incense stick's time." An incense stick's time? Yun Luofeng gently stroked his chin and gently narrowed his eyes. An incense stick's time is already enough. The moment his voice fell, he summoned the dragon scale armor and a long sword appeared in his hand. His body flashed as he shot towards Yu Tian like a bolt of lightning. Boom! Yu Tian, who was fighting with Yun Xiao, didn't notice Yun Luofeng coming from the side. It wasn't until Yun Luofeng neared him that he suddenly saw the imposing demonic aura and hurriedly dodged to the side. At the same time, his palm landed on Yun Luofeng's chest. Yun Luofeng quickly retreated a few steps and fell into a warm embrace. Yun Xiao will hold him back. Yun Luofeng's brows sank as he slowly said, "They only needed to hold on for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, all right." Yun Xiao agreed without asking anything. He released the body in his embrace, and his cold eyes once again looked towards Yu Tian. The sky was overcast. After Yu Tian sneered twice, his body suddenly disappeared in midair. In the blink of an eye, he was already behind Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao. The aura on his body transformed into a sharp longsword that slashed down from midair with an irresistible force. Boom! Yun Xiao hugged Yun Luofeng and dodged to the side, evading Yu Tian's attack. The place where they had just been standing was left with a deep ravine by the fierce sword wind, as if the entire ground had been split open. But before they could react, Yu Tian moved again. On the streets, the surviving humans were cowering to the side, trying to reduce their presence as much as possible. Especially those who had gone against Yun Luofeng when they heard Qin Tianlao's order. They were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. Chapter 2105. These two people were able to remain unscathed under the attack of a powerhouse like Ution. Just how tough was their strength? If they had fought against them just now, how good would the outcome have been? The crowd's resentment towards Qin Tanlao rose at the thought of this, and they glared fiercely at him. Compared to these people, Qin Tianlao's expression was even uglier, and his heart was filled with hatred towards his dead son. If that bastard had not lied about Yin Luofeng's power, he would not have sent people to surround him. Now, after witnessing Yin Luofeng and Yun Zhao's power, cold sweat began to form on his forehead. In the sky, the battle was growing more and more intense. The crowd could only see a few figures in the sky, but they were unable to capture their movements. Yun Luofeng's power was becoming weaker and weaker. She quickly took out a spiritual medicine and consumed it. Unfortunately, she had consumed too many spiritual medicines, and the spiritual medicine no longer had the initial rapid recovery effect. Fenger, watch out! Suddenly, a strong force rushed towards her, and then she fell into a warm embrace. His black robes fluttered in front of him as the man protected her tightly in his arms. His handsome face was right in front of her, so clear. Boom! The old man's hand suddenly landed on Yun Zhao's shoulder. This time, Yun Zhao could not hold back the blood that was surging endlessly in his heart. A mouthful of bright red blood sprayed out and splattered on Yun Luofeng's face. Yun Luofeng's pupil shrank. Yun Zhao. Fenger, it's all right. I'll protect you. Even in the face of such a situation, Yun Zhao still used his gentle voice to comfort her. He raised his hand and gently wiped away the tear in the corner of the woman's eye. He then said gently, "Trust me, I'll let you leave this place safe and sound." Yun Zhao. Yun Luofeng held Yun Zhao's hand tightly. Her lips trembled gently. "What are you doing?" Yun Zhao lowered his gaze and planted a gentle kiss on Yun Luofeng's forehead. His voice was gentle and warm. "I'll never go back on my promise to you." He slowly released the woman in his arms and slowly walked towards the old man. At that moment, the man's aura changed. There was a murderous intent in his callousness, as if a sharp sword had pierced through a person's heart. Furthermore, his aura was still rising nonstop, but it was very chaotic, causing Yun Luofeng's heart to clench. Yun Zhao. Her voice caused the man's footsteps to stop, but in the end, he did not turn around, his back to the woman behind him. Fenger, I, Yun Zhao, have no regrets to be able to meet you in this life. Yun Zhao. Yun Luofeng's expression darkened. I don't care what you want to do, but before that, you must fulfill the promise you made to me. You said that if I don't let you die, then you will never die. If I let you die, you won't even frown. Your life belongs to me. Without my permission, who allowed you to risk your life? Besides, I, Yun Luofeng, am not such a weak and incompetent person. I order you to follow me for the rest of your life and never give up. If you can't do it, I'll never see you again in this lifetime. The woman's words pierced the heart and caused the man to stop in his tracks. Because his back was facing Yun Luofeng could not see his expression. Yun Zhao. Yun Luofeng looked at Yun Zhao and continued. You said that you won't go back on your word. Then, you can't give up on your previous promise either. Chapter 2106. Moreover, you're not a person who doesn't keep his promises. In that moment, Yun Zhao seemed to have forgotten the promise he had made back then. How could he have the heart to go back on something he had promised? Ution was not in a hurry to be moved. He smiled sarcastically. Even in such a situation, you don't forget to express your love? I, Ution, am not a heartless person. Since that's the case, I can let you all speak your fill. Yun Luofeng lowered his eyes and slowly walked to Yun Zhao's side, holding his hand tightly. Yun Zhao, I believe that even if you don't put your life on the line, we will still be able to survive. Yun Zhao looked at Yun Luofeng with a complicated expression. Fenger, to me, there is nothing more important than you being alive. Even if he had to give up his life, he was willing. I will not allow you to do this. Yun Luofeng's face darkened, but when he saw Yun Zhao's expression, he calmed down. Could it be that you want us to become orphans and widows? A hint of heartache appeared in Yun Zhao's eyes. He had already forgotten that if Yun Luofeng didn't exist in this world, then the entire world wouldn't attract him at all. And Yun Luofeng was definitely the same. Have you said enough? Yu Tian didn't give the two a chance to speak. He smiled coldly. Since you've said enough, I'll send you to the underworld to be a pair of mandarin ducks. In an instant, Yu Tian rushed towards Yun Luofeng. His killing intent was awe-inspiring and incomparably powerful. Yun Luofeng's fingers caressed her stomach, and a trace of gentleness appeared in her demonic eyes. After a long time, she raised her head and faced the incoming attack. Boom! Seeing that Yu Tian was about to reach Yun Luofeng, Yun Xiao raised her hand, wanting to pull Yun Luofeng over. But at this moment, a golden light shot out from Yun Luofeng's body. This light shot straight into Yun Xiao, piercing through the layers of obstruction. This golden light formed a protective layer around Yun Luofeng's body. When Yu Tian's palm landed on this protective layer, there seemed to be a strange power that bounced back his strength, slamming him into the ground. Fresh blood flowed from the corner of Yu Tian's mouth. His eyes were filled with shock as he stared unblinkingly at Yun Luofeng's abdomen, which had already become visible. The others were also stunned. Didn't Yu Tian want to hurt Yun Luofeng just now? Why did he injure himself? While everyone was trying to figure out what had happened, the golden light that had enveloped Yun Luofeng had already disappeared. The dark clouds had also been dispersed by the golden light, revealing the azure sky. What Yun Luofeng didn't know was that in his lower abdomen, a small life was smiling brightly. This was as far as he could help her. That power was all the spirit chi he had left behind in the past. It could create a protective layer for the mother's body. If the mother's body was in danger, the protective layer would be activated and the power attacking the mother's body would be reflected back. The stronger the attack, the greater the reflected damage. This was also the reason why Yu Tian was injured. Thinking about how he was going to be born in a few months, the little life smile became even brighter. Unfortunately, once he was born, his past memories would disappear. Thus, he could only use his limited time to reminisce about his wonderful life. Roar. Right at this moment, a dragon's roar rang out from the distance. This dragon's roar shook the entire world, causing the entire sky to tremble. It's him. Why has this old fellow rushed over? Yu Tian's expression changed drastically. He looked at Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao, and a dark light flashed across his eyes. I'll forgive you this time. Next time, I definitely won't let you off. Chapter 2107. As soon as he finished speaking, Yu Tian's body flashed, and he disappeared from the streets. Not long after he disappeared, a huge figure flew over from a short distance away. His body was very long and sturdy, as if a huge mountain was blocking the sky. Long Yin, tell me what happened. The huge dragon's nasal voice made everyone's hearts tremble. Long Yin hurriedly stepped forward and respectfully recounted everything that had happened today. As he listened, the huge dragon's expression darkened, and his eyes sparkled with a dark and gloomy light. That old man Yu Tian is extremely audacious. He dared to attack a member of the dragon clan. I will never let this bunch of people off. The huge dragon's gaze turned towards Yun Luofeng, and he said slowly, Miss, thank you for saving my daughter's life. The ancestral dragon clan will never forget this kindness. Long Yin, aren't you going to apologize to this lady? Yes. Long Yan's face was flushed red, but he no longer had his initial arrogance and disdain. He said shamefully, Miss Yun, I have offended you previously. Please forgive me, Miss Long. Yun Luofeng glanced at Long Yin. The person you injured was not me, so you should apologize to Little Worm. If he forgives you, then this matter can be put behind us. If he is unwilling, then you will not stop until he forgives you. After saying this, Yun Luofeng released Little Worm and Long Luo. The moment Long Luo saw the clan leader, tears welled up in her eyes, and her face was filled with grievance. Father, the clan leader looked at Long Luo's aggrieved little face and sighed helplessly. Such a big thing happened. Why didn't you return home? Long Luo bit her lip and lowered her head. I heard that you wanted to marry me to Fifth Elder's grandson. I did not want to marry him, so I escaped. Fifth Elder? A look of surprise flashed across the clan leader's eyes, and he lowered his voice. When did I say such things? Where did you hear this from? Long Luo was so aggrieved that she almost cried. I overheard it when Fifth Elder's grandson was talking to someone else. He also said that father had already agreed to it. I did not want to marry him, so I escaped. The initially doubtful clan leader's aura instantly darkened when he heard this. It was terrifying. Long Yin, you handle this matter. Yes, Patriarch, Long Yin said respectfully. The grandson of the Fifth Elder? What the hell was that? How dare he covet the eldest miss? And they even announced that it was an order from the Patriarch? Would the Patriarch be stupid enough to betroth young miss to that kind of hedonistic son? More importantly, because of that idiot's mistake, eldest young miss had suffered so much outside. This was something that he would never forgive her for. As for the Chung family, the clan leader muttered to himself for a moment before a murderous glint flashed across his eyes. You don't have to do anything to the Chung family. Yin Luofeng glanced at the clan leader and said calmly, My subordinate has a grudge against the Chung family. He must avenge himself. All right. The clan leader nodded in agreement. I won't interfere in this matter. However, the Chung family has caused so much harm to my daughter. My daughter has many followers in the ancestral dragon clan. Those followers will definitely find trouble with the Chung family. I can't stop them from doing so. Yin Luofeng smiled faintly. It's enough that you don't interfere. I won't interfere with the others. Sheng Wuyin had been hurt so badly by the Chung family. He must personally deal with the Chung family members. Chapter 2108. The clan leader's gaze suddenly fell on Little Worm, and he frowned. Little fellow, have we met before? Little Worm's eyes were filled with confusion. I don't know you. In his memory, there was no such thing as a clan leader. Is that so? The clan leader looked a little dazed. He felt that this little fellow had an aura that was very familiar. Long Yin, hurry up and apologize to this little fellow. The clan leader seemed to remember the mistakes that Long Yin had made and said sternly, Yes. Long Yin slowly walked towards Little Worm with a look of shame on his face. Little master, I was indeed in the wrong in this matter. I have offended you in many ways. Please forgive me. Little Worm scoffed and raised his little head proudly. Have you forgotten how you treated me in the past? How dare you disrespect my master and mistress, and now you're begging me to forgive you. Dream on. Then what must I do for you to forgive me? Long Yin asked softly. Little Worm stroked his chin. However, seeing that you were willing to block the danger with your own body, I can give you a chance. If the Dragon Clan kills all the people surrounding me, I will forgive you. In reality, ever since Long Yin had blocked the danger with his own body, Little Worm no longer hated him as much as before. However, he had to teach this old man a lesson and see how he would continue to be so arrogant in the future. Thank you, little master. Long Yin heaved a sigh of relief. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, and he instinctively raised his hand to wipe it away. Everyone else had long been scared out of their wits. There was only one thought in their minds. That was to escape. However, just as they turned around, the path behind them was blocked by the huge bodies of a group of giant dragons. They were completely surrounded and could not escape even if they had wings. You've wrongly accused a member of the ancestral dragon clan. I can't give you another chance to live. Long Yin, you must handle this matter properly. Yes, clan leader. Long Yin had long hated this group of people to the core. It was only now that he had the time to care about them. At the thought of Qin Tianlao framing him and making him commit such a big mistake, he had the urge to tear him into pieces. Qin Tianlao, when you framed others, did you ever think that you would end up like this? Mu Qingfei was also released by Yin Luofeng. She looked at Qin Tianlao coldly. Moreover, even a vicious tiger will not eat its cubs, but you killed your own son. Hua! The crowd was in an uproar. They only knew that Qin Tianlao wanted to kill Little Worm, but they did not know that Qin Yuan was dead. He died in the hands of Qin Tianlao. Long Yin was even more furious. Previously, he had been dumbfounded by such a hypocrite. He even killed his own son. What else was there that he wouldn't do? At this moment, Qin Tianlao really wanted to find a hole to hide in. At least it would be better than being mocked. I still have one more thing that I need your ancestral dragon clan's help with. Yin Luofu no longer bothered with Qin Tianlao and the others. He turned to look at the clan leader and hesitated for a moment before speaking. What is it, Miss Yin? Please speak. Yin Luofeng was silent for a moment. I want the urine of your ancestral dragon clan. Urine? The clan leader was stunned. What did she want the ancestral dragon's urine for? However, the clan leader also knew what to ask and what not to. So he only asked, how much do you want? Chapter 2109. Probably, Yin Luofeng thought about it and said, half a bottle should be enough. The ancestral dragon produced very little urine, only 1 or 2 drops at a time. This half a bottle of urine was the crystallization of the little worm's efforts over several months. At the same time, the dragon saliva fruit was about to bear fruit once more. With this half a bottle of liquid, her dragon saliva fruit would bear fruit again. All right, I'll get the ancestral dragons under me to prepare it for you. The clan leader smiled and agreed. Thank you, Yin Luofeng said politely. No need to thank me. This is what I should do. You saved my daughter first, then you were wrong by Long Yan. No matter what I do, I can't make up for Long Yan's mistakes. The clan leader's words eased Yin Luofeng's expression. Fortunately, the clan leader of the ancestral dragon clan was more reasonable. If there was another Long Yin, she might not be able to control her emotions. How long will the dragon urine take? Yin Luofeng thought about it and continued to ask. She remembered what Feng Jin had said to her before he left. Therefore, she had to make a trip to Endless City as soon as possible. About 3 days will be enough. Then I'll go with you to the dragon clan. Get those dragons to give me their urine. If she waited here for the clan leader, a round trip would waste a lot of time. She might as well go with him to the dragon clan. That's right. Yin Luofeng seemed to have thought of something and continued. When the time comes, I will have to leave for a period of time. Can you make a trip to the 7 continents continent, the place you call the abandoned land, and protect some people for me? The only thing she was worried about when she left was Zhu Qian's enemies. Once they knew her abilities, there was no guarantee that they wouldn't make a move on the old master and the rest. The clan leader was stunned, and hesitation flashed in his eyes. Why? Can't I? Yin Luofeng frowned and asked. The clan leader smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's not that I don't want to, but as the ruler of this continent, I can't leave it. What do you mean? Yin Luofeng's frown deepened. The spiritual energy in your Forsaken Land is very thin. That's because the spirit god continent has attracted all the spiritual energy from the Forsaken Land. As for me, Yu Tian, and the others, we are the core of this continent. If we leave the spirit god continent, not only will it collapse, even we won't be able to survive. If you really need help, I can send other experts of the Dragon Clan to help you. The spirit god continent was a huge formation. It was similar to the illusion formation that Yin Luofeng had brought with him. The only difference was that, as the core of the mainland, the patriarch and the others could not leave this mainland. Thinking of this, Yin Luofeng's eyebrows relaxed. No wonder from the beginning, Yu Tian did not personally capture him, but used Qin Tian's labor. There was actually this layer of relationship. Since those people couldn't leave the spirit god continent, then Yu Tian couldn't personally cause trouble for the old man. As long as the rulers didn't make a move, she didn't have to worry about the others. Miss Yin, actually, the reason why we're able to become rulers is inextricably linked to this formation. The clan leader smiled helplessly. As the center of the illusory formation, the first place the spiritual energy reaches is our bodies. We've also borrowed this spiritual energy to raise our power to such a level. Chapter 2110. Understand, Yin Luofeng nodded. Then I won't trouble you. Miss Yin, you've seen Long Yan's power. I can ask him to help you. The clan leader thought that Yin Luofeng was angry and suggested, I can guarantee that on this mainland, aside from the rulers, no one else is a match for Long Yin. Hearing this, Yin Luofeng raised the corners of her lips. No need, I'm confident that I can handle them. She didn't want to owe the Dragon Clan a favor. If there was no other way, she would ask the Dragon Clan for help. Since she was confident, she would not ask for it again. If that's the case, I won't force you. If you need anything, you can ask the Ancestral Dragon Clan anytime. As long as your request isn't too much, the Dragon Clan will definitely grant your request. Yin Luofeng did not say anything else. Her gaze had already turned towards Yin Xiao. Her eyes, which had been filled with anger, involuntarily softened when she met the man's aggrieved gaze. She said exasperatedly, Yin Xiao, in the future, no matter what happens, you can't risk your life. I didn't think too much of the time. I just wanted you to live. Yin Luofeng's eyes narrowed slightly. A dangerous light flashed across her gaze. If you dare to die, I'll drag you out from the underworld. Fenger, Yin Xiao held Yin Luofeng's hand and said affectionately, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Yin Luofeng glared at her fiercely. I'll settle the score with you in bed. I'll make sure you can't get out of bed. Yin Luofeng squeezed Yin Xiao's hand, his tone still fierce. Yin Xiao, who had been aggrieved, laughed at Yin Luofeng's words. I couldn't ask for more. Yin Luofeng's entire face darkened. She had forgotten that although this man was usually very obedient, he was actually a beast in bed. Even if she worked herself to death, there would never come a day when this beast couldn't get out of bed. Master, Little Worm pursed its lips. You want to flirt, but have you considered the feelings of a single dragon like me? It seemed like it was time for him to find a female dragon, lest he be angered to death by these two people's public display of affection. Yin Luofeng swept a glance at Little Worm and did not answer his question. Her gaze once again turned to the dragon chief and slowly said, When do we leave? Let's do it now. The patriarch answered Yin Luofeng without any hesitation. As for Qin Tianlao and the others, they were handed over to Long Yin to deal with. There were not many dragons in the Ancestral Dragon Clan. In fact, there were very few of them. Therefore, even though it was only half a bottle of urine, it still took them 3 whole days. 3 days later, Yin Luofeng, who had prepared the medicinal liquid, entered the medicine field and poured it on the dragon saliva tree. Not long after, the dragon saliva tree once again sprouted and bore fruit, completing the entire process in a short period of time. With some of these fruits, the members of the Steel Flame Corps could successfully break through. But this time, Yin Luofeng had left the Steel Flame Corps to break through in the illusory array. Therefore, it didn't affect them too much after distributing all the dragon saliva fruits. Yin Luofeng and Yin Xiao left Spirit God Continent and set off for Endless City. This was Yin Luofeng's 3rd time entering Endless City. The first time, Endless City was her territory. She had established the medicine tower here and met her good friend from 2 lifetimes, Nangong Uni. Chapter 2111. The second time was on her way back. She happened to pass by this place and came to avenge Ruo Shui and Yi Jun when they were bullied. Therefore, this was the 3rd time she had entered the Endless City. If I didn't remember wrongly, I discovered a cave in Endless City all those years ago, and there was a formidable spirit beast living in that cave, causing me to be unable to go in and investigate it to the end. I came back in a hurry last time and didn't have time to enter this cave. Yin Luofeng stopped and turned to look at Yin Xiao before continuing. This is the only place in the entire Endless City that is suspicious. Yin Xiao hugged Yin Luofeng and said gently, Let's go down and have a look. All right. The 2 of them entered the big cave without hesitation. It was pitch black underground. Yin Luofeng saw the thick black mist in front of her. She held her breath and said, Yin Xiao, this black mist is poisonous. Remember not to breathe it. In fact, Yin Xiao could see that the black mist was unusual even without Yin Luofeng's reminder. However, he did not say it to Yin Luofeng and only nodded slowly. I'll remember. The 2 of them stopped talking after that and headed toward the black mist. It did not take long for them to pass through the black mist and the skeletons in front of them appeared in their sight. There were treasures hidden in those skeletons, but those treasures had long been taken by Yun Luofeng. Therefore, Yun Luofeng did not hesitate and headed forward. Nine-winged sky dragon. Soon, the nine-winged sky dragon that little Mo called extremely dangerous also fell into Yun Luofeng's pitch-black eyes. The nine-winged sky dragon was still in a deep sleep and did not know the people who came. Its huge body blocked the door behind it as its entire body curled up. The nine-winged sky dragon, an ancient fierce beast, powerful and mighty. It once occupied a part of the sea and was the king. Later on, during the battle with humans, it destroyed thousands of human troops in a single breath. Its flames burned the continent for months without stopping. With a flap of its wings, mountains and rivers collapsed and the world ended. With a sweep of its tail, everything became barren. The description of a nine-winged sky dragon in the history books appeared in Yun Luofeng's mind as his eyes gradually became vigilant. Even though he had reached the ultimate god realm, he still did not dare to be careless when facing the nine-winged sky dragon. As the two of them walked forward, the nine-winged sky dragon's heavy breathing became louder and louder. This intense breathing was like thunder, causing one's heart to tremble slightly. Yun Luofeng took a deep breath. His footsteps were light, afraid that the nine-winged sky dragon would wake up if he was not careful. Fortunately, when they walked to the side of the nine-winged sky dragon, the dragon was still asleep, as if it could not get enough sleep. Even so, Yun Luofeng's heart was not at ease. She carefully tried to bypass the nine-winged sky dragon's back, her hand involuntarily pushing against the giant door behind it. But before her hand could reach the giant door, she suddenly met a pair of ruthless and cruel eyes. These eyes were emotionless. Their blood-red color revealed a cruel nature, causing Yun Luofeng's hand to suddenly freeze. Feng, Yin Xiao reacted quickly. When the nine-winged sky dragon's huge body got up, she pulled Yun Luofeng into her arms and used her sleeves to block the wind caused by the giant wings. Chapter 21:12. Roar. A dragon's roar was heard from within the cave. At that moment, the sky and earth changed colors and the sun and moon lost their light. It was like the end of the world. The people of Endless City did not know what was happening as they all ran out of their houses and looked at the void shrouded by dark clouds and horror. Their eyes were filled with deep astonishment. In the cave, the nine-winged sky dragon flapped its wings, and a strong wind swept past. The entire cave collapsed in an instant as the ruins almost buried Yun Luofeng and the others. Only the giant gate was still standing there, unmoving like a mountain. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon roared again as the originally unstable sky once again surged with wind and clouds. It really felt like the end of the world. At that moment, Yun Luofeng finally understood what was the collapse of mountains and rivers. What was the end of the world? The nine-winged sky dragon indeed had such strength. If Yun Luofeng and the others had not broken through to the ultimate god realm, perhaps their souls would have been destroyed by the nine-winged sky dragon's shocking power. However, the awakened nine-winged sky dragon ignored Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao as it flew toward the void, intending to leave that place. Yin Xiao, quick, we have to stop it. We can't let it leave. Yun Luofeng's expression changed drastically as she hurriedly said. It was not that she was concerned about the safety of the people, but her family and friends were still on that continent. If the nine-winged sky dragon were to leave that place, it would definitely cause destruction to the continent. Yin Xiao had obviously thought of that as well. Hence, when Yun Luofeng's voice trailed off, he had already quickly chased after the nine-winged sky dragon. Of course, Yun Luofeng did not stay idle. She took out a few stones and set up a formation on the ground. Although she was already proficient in formations, she was currently facing a powerful and terrifying nine-winged sky dragon. Each of its wings contained a different kind of power. If the power of all its wings were gathered, not to mention her and Yun Xiao, even the rulers of the spirit god continent might not be able to subdue it, It was only at that moment that Yun Luofeng realized there was a certain error in the records of the nine-winged sky dragon in the history books. The nine-winged sky dragon was definitely not a deity. It was an existence far beyond a divine emperor. Perhaps it had already reached the level of a true god. The first time she saw the nine-winged sky dragon, Yun Luofeng only knew that it was powerful. Now that she was facing it for the second time, the strength of the nine-winged sky dragon still made her heart palpitate. This feeling of palpitation did not even occur when she faced Yution. From this, she concluded that the power of the nine-winged sky dragon was far more terrifying than she had imagined. Their only advantage was that the nine-winged sky dragon had just awakened and did not have enough control over its power. Otherwise, even if she and Yun Xiao joined forces, it would still be difficult for them to withstand a single blow from it. However, what puzzled her was how did Zhu Qian subdue the nine-winged sky dragon with his strength. Back then, Zhu Qian had only reached the ultimate god level not long ago, let alone a divine emperor. With his strength, what method did he use to make the nine-winged sky dragon guard the door for him? Yun Xiao blocked the nine-winged sky dragon's flight and began a head-on confrontation with it. The nine-winged sky dragon was so powerful that even Yun Xiao was a little tired of dealing with it. From start to finish, Yun Luofeng did not even look at the battle in the sky. She only focused on deploying the array. Due to the consumption of her spiritual energy, her forehead was covered in cold sweat. Chapter 21:13. She was sweating more and more, and not long after, she was caught in the crossfire. Yun Luofeng hurriedly took out a spirit fruit that could restore spirit energy, bit it, and swallowed it. Once his spirit energy was restored, he continued to set up the array. This time, it took an entire 2 hours to set up the formation. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and sat on the ground weakly. She took a few deep breaths before looking at Yun Xiao, who was gradually falling below. Yun Xiao, think of a way to lure the nine-winged sky dragon into this array. I'll see if this array can trap it. Yun Xiao did not reply. A glint flashed in his cold eyes, and then he raised his hand and picked up a long staff, circled behind the nine-winged sky dragon, and stabbed the staff in his hand into the nine-winged sky dragon's anus. The intense pain made the nine-winged sky dragon wail and chase after Yun Xiao angrily. Although the nine-winged sky dragon had just awakened and was lacking in both strength and intelligence, it also knew what shame was. As a sky dragon, its anus had been broken by a human. This was simply unbearable. If it did not kill this damned human, it would not be worthy of being a sky dragon. So, the simple-minded nine-winged sky dragon chased after Yun Xiao and also stepped into the array. The moment it entered the array, a ray of light rose and turned into an invisible wall, firmly trapping the nine-winged sky dragon in the array. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon roared, and its body slammed heavily into the array. Its body was knocked back a few steps, and its ferocious eyes were filled with annoyance other than anger. Yin Xiao, I can only trap the nine-winged sky dragon for now. When its strength is fully restored, I won't be able to trap it anymore. The nine-winged sky dragon was too strong. They cannot do anything to it just by suppressing its strength. Even this array could only trap it for a while at most. However, since Zhu Qian was able to take it down, I can also find a way. It just takes time, Yun Luofeng said after pondering for a while. Yun Zhao's gaze gradually turned to the giant door that was previously blocked by the nine-winged sky dragon's body and said, "Let's go in and take a look first. Perhaps we can find a way to deal with the nine-winged sky dragon in this door." Hearing this, Yun Luofeng no longer hesitated and nodded, "Okay." After saying that, the two of them walked towards the giant door. Yun Luofeng placed his hand on the giant door and pushed it open with a gentle push. The nine-winged sky dragon, whose eyes were filled with anger, had an even more complicated expression when it saw the two of them walking toward the giant door. There was a faint look of anxiety in its eyes, of course. Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao ignored her and entered the giant door. Beyond the door was another world with an altar in the middle of it. Next to the altar were a few dragon eggs. The pattern on the dragon egg was very similar to the nine-winged sky dragon outside. Nine-winged sky dragon's egg? Yin Luofeng was taken aback. One nine-winged sky dragon was already terrifying enough. If these nine-winged sky dragons were also born, then the world would be the nine-winged sky dragon's world. It would cause misery for the people, and it would be like the end of the world. If I'm not wrong, the reason why the nine-winged sky dragon is guarding the door is not only because of Zhu Qian, but also because of the dragon egg inside the door. Yin Xiao looked at Yun Luofeng and said. Yun Luofeng fell silent. The nine-winged sky dragon outside the door, and the nine-winged sky dragon's egg inside the door. Then why did Zhu Qian ask her to come here? Chapter 21:14. Roar. The nine-winged sky dragon outside the door seemed to have sensed the threat from Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao. It let out a warning roar, as if to stop them from approaching the dragon egg. As the two got closer, the nine-winged sky dragon became more and more irritable. Its body slammed hard against the illusion array, and from time to time, there was a loud crash outside the door, causing the door to tremble. Yin Xiao, my array can't hold him for too long. It's just that the nine-winged sky dragon's body is cruel. We can't let him leave this place. Yun Luofeng's expression darkened bit by bit, and his eyes were very solemn. After hearing this, Yin Xiao did not hesitate. She quickly walked to the nine-winged sky dragon's egg and frowned slightly. There's something wrong with this nine-winged sky dragon's egg. What's the problem? I'm not sure. I can't feel the existence of any life inside this dragon egg. Can't feel any life? Yin Luofeng pondered for a while. The nine-winged sky dragon in this dragon egg is already dead? Or perhaps this dragon egg was never a nine-winged sky dragon to begin with. No matter what, Yin Luofeng could still see the importance of the dragon egg to the nine-winged sky dragon. Yin Xiao, wait for me for a moment. I'm going to check the items in this room. After saying this, Yin Luofeng closed her eyes slightly and used all her mental strength to sweep the room. After a while, she suddenly opened her eyes and quickly walked to the corner in front of her. In this corner, there was actually a secret door. Yin Luofeng's hand gently fell on the secret door and slowly pushed it open. Yin Xiao quietly followed behind Yin Luofeng and walked into the secret door. He remained vigilant, afraid that Yin Luofeng would encounter danger. Yin Luofeng gently narrowed her eyes, and her gaze suddenly stopped on the transparent barrier in front of her. In the center of that barrier stood a naked little lowly. This little lowly had a head of golden hair, and her skin was snow white to the point of almost being transparent. Her eyes were very ignorant, like a little girl who had just gained consciousness. She was looking at Yin Luofeng with curious eyes. Earlier on, Yin Xiao had already turned her head around, her back facing the little lowly behind her. Even though the little Lolita seemed to be defenseless, he still said worriedly, "Her identity is not simple for her to appear here. Be careful, and I have a guess that someone deliberately used the dragon egg to trap the nine-winged sky dragon so that the nine-winged sky dragon could protect this little girl." Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao had the same guess. At first, she thought that the nine-winged sky dragon's egg was what Zhu Qian had left for her. Only now did she understand the little girl in front of him was the most precious treasure in this sect. You don't have to be afraid. Yin Luofeng slowly walked towards the little lowly, his tone gentle. I'm here to save you. The little girl tilted her head and looked at Yin Luofeng in a daze. She was like a spirit of heaven and earth. She had just gained intelligence and did not understand the dangers of the world. Yin Luofeng walked in front of the little girl and stopped. Her hand gently fell on the transparent barrier in front of her. Her palm completely passed through it. Only then did Yin Luofeng understand that this barrier only had a restraining effect on the little girl in front of him. I'll pull you out now. Yin Luofeng's voice was very gentle. She did not know why, but she felt close to this little girl from the bottom of her heart. Chapter 21:15. The little girl looked at Yin Luofeng's outstretched hand and gently blinked her eyes before placing her hand on Yin Luofeng's. Soon after, Yin Luofeng pulled, and the little girl was pulled out from the spirit formation. Yin Luofeng took out a piece of clothing from his spatial ring and draped it over the little girl's body. The large robe covered the little girl's body, making her look weak and frail under the robe. "Do you know how to speak?" Yin Luofeng lowered his head to look at the little girl in front of him and asked. The little girl blinked, her long eyelashes fluttering. She was very cute. Her eyes were clean and clear, with a naive and innocent look. "You don't know how to speak?" Yin Luofeng hesitated for a moment. "If that's the case, are you willing to come with me? If you're not willing, I won't force you." The little girl seemed to understand this sentence. She tightly held onto Yin Luofeng's arm, her eyes filled with a layer of mist, and her eyelashes that were like fans hung with tears. Yin Luofeng had met many little girls in his life, but none of them were as cute and innocent as the little girl in front of him. Her naivety was like that of a newborn child who did not understand the world. "You choose to come with me?" Yin Luofeng continued to look at the little girl and asked. The little girl blinked, her large, watery eyes staring unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng also saw a trace of dependence in her eyes. This girl had probably never seen a stranger in all these years, and had treated her, who had appeared for the first time, as family. As such, no matter what, he could not leave this girl behind. "If you want to come with me, you can't not have your own name." Yin Luofeng thought for a moment. "How about this? You were born between heaven and earth, and walk outside of the rules. I'll call you Chu Tian. How about that?" Chu Tian. Yin Chu Tian. That was her name. "If you agree, just blink your eyes." Yin Luofeng continued. The little girl blinked, which was equivalent to agreeing to Yin Luofeng's words. An innocent smile hung on her face. Her fair little face was as clean as the first snow in winter, and her eyes seemed to have been cleansed by spring water. "Yin Xiao, let's go." Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao, who had already turned around, and smiled. "From now on, she is Yin Chutian, and also our daughter." Daughter. These two words made Yin Xiao's gaze soften. However, he still said, "This girl isn't human. I know. Compared to these things, I trust my feelings more." Yin Luofeng raised his eyes, his expression very serious. "All right, then she's our daughter." If Yin Luofeng wanted to do something, he would never stop him. Whatever Yin Luofeng accepted, he was also willing to accept. In this life, he was willing to respect her and do anything for her. Outside the door, the nine-winged sky dragon had already smashed open a crack in the array. The moment Yin Luofeng stepped out of the secret door, the nine-winged sky dragon completely smashed through the array. With a furious roar, it tried to rush out the door. Bang! However, just as the nine-winged sky dragon rushed to the door, it was as if a barrier had knocked it out. Its expression became more and more anxious, and it kept warning Yin Luofeng with a low growl. "It seems that the nine-winged sky dragon can't come through this door. However, we can't stay here forever. We have to find a way to leave." Chapter 21:16. The nine-winged sky dragon's temper became more and more irritable. Its red eyes carried a cruel glint as it stared at Yin Luofeng, wanting to tear this woman into pieces. "Yin Xiao, take out the nine-winged sky dragon's egg. With this egg, it won't act rashly," Yin Luofeng said with a deep frown. "There seems to be some kind of power in the nine-winged sky dragon's egg that will prevent me from entering the secret door, so I temporarily left it by the altar." However, when the two of them wanted to take the nine-winged sky dragon's egg, Yin Luofeng was shocked by the next scene. Yin Chutian, who was just beside him, had walked to the altar. Even the nine-winged sky dragon's egg had been broken by her, and the corner of her mouth was full of egg yolk. Seeing Yin Luofeng walking toward her, she immediately looked at her with a pair of innocent eyes. The creature inside the nine-winged sky dragon's egg had died before this. This egg was just a dead egg, and it could not hatch into a nine-winged sky dragon. However, even so, this was the nine-winged sky dragon's wish. Otherwise, it would not have guarded here for so many years. Burp. Yin Chutian burped. She still did not know what she had done wrong, and her clean and clear eyes were filled with a pitiful look. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon finally realized that the egg had been eaten. It hit the barrier outside the door even harder, its eyes bloodthirsty and its roar filled with anger. Yin Luofeng shrugged helplessly. Yin Xiao, it seems that we can't get out this time. I can fight him, Yin Xiao said after a moment of silence. No, it's too dangerous. The nine-winged sky dragon is not like when it just woke up. I don't want you to make any risky preparations. We must have other ways to stop him. Yin Luofeng stroked her chin and fell into deep thought. However, the nine-winged sky dragon was clearly angered by them. In other words, the mainland was at least safe. As long as she was sure that her family was safe, she would have time to think about how to deal with the nine-winged sky dragon. I got it. Yin Luofeng's eyes flashed. Among Jueqian's formations, there is a formation that might be able to deal with the nine-winged sky dragon. Yin Xiao turned to look at Yin Luofeng, silently waiting for her to speak. That formation is called the Heaven and Earth Entrapment Formation. This formation is very difficult to set up in a short period of time. Furthermore, I have never tried it before, so I might fail. I believe you. Yin Zhao's expression was very serious. He trusted her. As long as it was something she wanted to do, it was impossible for her to fail. All right, Yin Xiao, I'm not strong enough to set up this spell formation. I need your help. Yin Luofeng pondered for a moment, then continued. Yin Yi, come out and help me. In an instant, the spirit beasts all ran out of Yin Luofeng's divine grimoire space, and Yin Yi also appeared in front of her. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Yin Luofeng took a deep breath and began to set up the formation, the 7 continents. The sky was dyed red by the color of blood, and under this blood-colored sky, an austere killing was happening. If we kill this group of people, we can gain the favor of Lord Yutian. Lord Yutian is the ruler of our spirit god continent. With his favor, we can use the resources of the spirit god continent at will. Someone in the crowd said something that made the murderous intent of those people even stronger. Under their killing intent, the group of people had no room to resist at all. Chapter 21:17. At the same time, the Jun family in Ling continent was overcrowded. Jun Lingtian looked at Hong Ling, who had been picked up by the Jun family, and laughed. Lord Hong Ling, you can treat the Jun family as your home from now on. You don't have to be polite to us. With the Jun family's protection, you will definitely be safe and sound. Hong Ling sighed inwardly. He had never thought that his daughter's actions would protect the East Continent Prefecture from this calamity. That's right, a calamity. Not long ago, a group of people had come to kill them. Those people were very aggressive. They claimed that the 7 continents were abandoned lands and that they were wasting the resources of the spirit god continent. That was why they wanted to exterminate all humans in the 7 continents. Linger, go and see if the people from West Spirit Academy are here. The elders of West Spirit Academy are Feng, Er's masters, so you must make arrangements for them. As for the students, let them squeeze with the servants of the East Continent for a while. Oh, that's right. The people who went to the Yi residence in the Wuhui continent should be back by now. Also, bring Feng Er's subordinates from the medicine tower here. Who knows if this group of crazy people will also destroy the Wuhui continent. Jun Lingtian's expression became more and more serious. Although Yun Xingya had reached the Divine Lord level, he didn't know how many Divine Lords they were facing, so he had to be careful. Master! Suddenly, a servant hurried in. The master of the South Continent has sent someone to ask for an audience. The South Continent? Jun Lingtian sneered. Someone actually dares to come to the South Continent. Could it be that they had forgotten how they had treated the Yun family back then? Now they come to us for help. It's too late. Drive them out. Yes, master. Everyone in the 7 continents knew what the South Continent had done. Therefore, the servant of the Jun family had long been unhappy with the South Continent, but he still needed to report such an important matter to the master. However, it was impossible for the Jun family to not know what decision the master would make. Therefore, after receiving the order, The servant quickly walked out. Not long after, he saw the master of the South Continent waiting at the door. That's right. The master of the South Continent had come to the June family this time. He had no intention of leaving since he had come. Moreover, the June family couldn't just sit back and watch as the seven continents face such a crisis. At this moment, the South Continent's continent lord seemed to have forgotten how they had treated him when a Yun family was in danger. Our master has said that we won't take in people from the South Continent. The manservant held his head high and said disdainfully. The lord of the South Continent's expression changed, but he still needed the June family's protection, so his tone softened. Let me see Grandpa June. I will have a way to make him keep me. A trace of anger flashed in the servant's eyes as he snorted. You didn't save me in the past. Why should my old master take you in? Hurry up and leave, or I'll get someone to chase you away. You. The South Continent's continent lord was so angry that his face turned red. A mere servant dared to speak to him like this. After all, he was the continent master of South Continent. The South Continent's continent lord took a deep breath and clenched his fists, suppressing the anger in his heart. I don't want you to talk. I just want to see Grandpa June. Let me see him. I won't leave until I see him. Unexpectedly, just as the South Continent's continent lord finished speaking, a mocking voice came from behind. Chapter 21:18. You want the June family to take you in? The reason? Just because you left the Yun family in the lurch? A person in a gray robe, followed by a group of people, came forward. The woman did not even look at the lord of the South Continent. She cupped her fists towards the servant. Please go and report to the lord of the June family that the elder in gray of the Sacred Maiden tribe has come to visit. Elder Gray Robe is here. My grandfather has been waiting for you for a long time. The Holy Maiden tribe had helped the Yun family when they were in danger and took in the seriously injured Grandpa June. Grandpa June would remember this kindness in his heart. So when the continent was in danger, he did not forget about the Holy Maiden tribe. It was an unintentional mistake. The South Continent's lord knew the identity of the person in front of him. He did not dare to vent his anger. Besides, your Holy Maiden tribe had offended Yun Luophone before. Why are you here? Why can't I? Elder Gray Robe glanced at the South Continent's lord and sneered. I did make a mistake, but I also helped in times of need. Grandpa June was grateful to the Holy Maiden tribe, so he invited us. I'm not like you who came uninvited and refused to leave. I have never seen someone as shameless as you in my life. You really want to leave us in the lurch? The South Continent's lord's face turned ugly. We are all from the seven continents. The spirit god continent has gone too far, and you want me to die? Elder Gray Robe was stunned by the South Continent's lord's shamelessness. It took him a while to recover. The one who wanted to attack the Yun family was also from the spirit god continent. So why are you leaving them in the lurch? This is not the same. The Yun family is not from the seven continents. Why should I save them? Besides, the Qin family from the spirit god continent only wanted to attack the Yun family. This is their personal grudge. Why should we save them? The South Continent's lord's eyes darkened. Now, the spirit god continent wants to destroy our entire wind cloud continent. How can this be compared to what happened before? What else can I say if you think so? Elder Gray Robe thought that he could not argue with the South Continent's lord. He was too lazy to argue with him. However, the June family is the Yun family's relative. Why should they protect you? Besides, the gray-clothed elder looked down and sneered. Let me tell you something. Why did the spirit god continent fail to kill the June family's people? That's because the second young master of the Yun family, Yun Xingya, came out to fight the enemy. That's why the enemy was driven away. Now that the spirit god continent had come to the seven continents, they would definitely not let Yun Luofeng's family off. At that time, the spirit god continent had sent a divine lord over, but he had been beaten away by Yun Xingya. The continent lord in the southern continent definitely did not know about this matter. All he knew was that the June family was the only family that could remain unscathed under the siege of the spirit god continent. The lord of the South Continent was dumbfounded for a long time before he regained his composure. He continued to quibble. If the June family doesn't take me in, then they will be the sinners of the continent. They will watch their compatriots die without doing anything. And since Yun Xingya and the Jun family are relatives, it's only right for her to protect me. It was only right for others to save him. If they didn't, they would be scolded by the world and go down in infamy. Even if the other party had asked for help from the South Continent, not only did he ignore them, he even chased them out of the door. The gray-clothed elder shook her head. She really did not know where this idiot got such strong confidence from. Did he think that others must protect him? Chapter 21:19. Lord of the South Continent. No matter what you think, the Jun family will never help you. With that, Elder Huey couldn't be bothered to say anything more to this idiot. He flung his sleeves and walked into the Jun family. The Lord of the South Continent's expression changed. Just as he was about to follow Elder Huey in, Elder Huey waved his hand as if he had eyes. A powerful force surged towards them. With a boom, the Lord of the South Continent took a few steps back, his expression a little awkward. Jun Lintian, come out. You can't just leave me in the lurch. Seeing that these people wouldn't let him enter the Jun family's residence, the Lord of the South Continent yelled at the top of his lungs. We're from the same continent. Can you really not save me? Lord, please save me. I really don't want to die. Towards the end, his voice softened, filled with pleading and even trembling. The Jun family was the only life-saving straw on the continent. He wanted to hold on to it, but no one would give him the chance. At that moment, Grandpa Jun's cold voice came from above the Jun family's residence. You didn't help me back then, and now you have the face to beg me? I'll give you one chance. Leave immediately. Otherwise, I'll kill you before the people from Spirit God Continent arrive. The old man's voice was majestic and domineering. Even though he hadn't seen the person, the voice alone was enough to make his heart tremble. It was as if a huge mountain was pressing down on him, making it hard for him to breathe. This time, the Lord of the South Continent didn't dare to stay any longer. He left in the direction he came from. He understood that what happened that day was a mistake he would never be able to make up for in his life. Grandpa, he's gone. Junlinger walked up to Jun Lintian and pursed her thin lips. Do you think we can really fight against those powerhouses from Spirit God Continent? We have to believe in your second uncle's strength. He's the only divine lord here, so he'll definitely protect us. However, we need to be prepared. This battle might be a long one. Jun Lintian sighed softly. No matter how strong Yun Xingya was, she was alone. There were many powerhouses on Spirit God Continent. To be honest, he didn't have much of a chance of winning. If only Sister Yun was here. Sister Yun is so powerful, she can definitely deal with those enemies. Old man, it's bad, it's bad. Suddenly, a panicked voice came from outside. The people from the Spirit God Continent are here again. They're clearly stronger than the ones from last time. What? Jun Lintian's heart almost stopped beating. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but found that he couldn't find the words. At this moment, Yun Xingya slowly walked in from outside the door. He stood with his hand behind his back, his face elegant. Old Master Jun, in this Jun city, other than the Jun family, there's still many commoners. I don't want to have so many casualties, so I plan to go outside the city gates to meet the enemy. As for the mission of protecting the safety of these commoners, I'll leave it to you. Yun Xingya was born in a family of generals. Unlike Yun Luofeng, he would place the lives of the people in his heart. Of course, he was not a saint. He would never protect someone like the continent lord of the South Continent. Are you going to face the enemy alone? Jun Lintian looked at Yun Xingya in surprise, his heart filled with worry. Chapter 21:20. I checked the situation just now. Those people have split into several groups. From the looks of it, there will be a few divine lords mixed in with them. Other than these people, there will be experts attacking from the west, south, and north of the city. You have to send people to defend them. Leave some people in the city to protect the residents. Yun Xingya's voice was very cold as she said slowly. Old Master Jun gritted his teeth. All right, then we'll do as you say. I'll take care of the other 3 cities. You must stop those divine lords. Otherwise, our spirit continent will also face a calamity. Yun Qingyao looked at the people behind her, turned around, and walked towards the door. Big Brother Yun. Ning Xin quickly took 2 steps forward with a determined expression. I'll go with you. Yun Qingyao pondered for a moment. Ever since he had consumed the dragon saliva fruit, Ning Xion's strength had increased by quite a bit. Therefore, he nodded slightly in agreement. All right, let's go together. Ning Xion smiled. This smile was very beautiful, so beautiful that it was like a lotus blooming in this place. As long as she could be with the man she loved, so what if she died? She would never be afraid. Father, mother. Yun Ruoshui's eyes reddened. She wanted to hold Ning Xion's hand and looked at her with grievance. Shui'er also wants to be with you. Ning Xion's expression softened. She caressed Yun Ruoshui's head and said warmly, Sure, stay in the city obediently. Father and mother will be back soon. Yun Ruoshui's heart tightened. How could she not know the danger they were facing this time? Thus, her large eyes were filled with worry. Will you really come back? Definitely. Ning Xion raised her hand and rubbed Yun Ruoshui's head. She slowly stood up and looked at Yun Qingya, who was standing in front of her. Let's go. All right. Yun Qingya smiled. Before he left, his loving gaze fell on little Ruoshui's young and tender face. Shui'er, Father promises you that we will definitely return safely. The premise is that you have to listen to your grandfather obediently. Understand? Yun Ruoshui nodded firmly. Shui'er will be very obedient. You're not allowed to lie to Shui'er. Otherwise, Shui'er will never forgive you. It was as if a determination on Yun Ruoshui's face had caused Ning Xion's heart to ache. In the end, she had forced herself to harden her heart and walk out. After the 2 of them left, Yun Ruoshui's tears finally flowed uncontrollably, and her face was full of tear stains. Father, mother, sure will wait for your return. Outside the city gate, there was an austere atmosphere. Yun Qingyao looked at the experts descending from the sky. Then her gaze fell on the man she had fought with before. He's just a defeated opponent, yet he dares to start over. Last time, I underestimated you. This time you will die. The long-robed man's face was cold, and his voice carried a strong, killing intent. So what if you found some helpers? Yun Qingya took 2 steps forward and separated her feet. Like a huge mountain, she blocked the city gate. I, Yun Qingya, have the bloodline of the Yun family, a family of generals. Today, as long as I still have my lofty and unyielding character, I won't allow you to harm other innocent people. He was born in a general's family, so he naturally had a proud and unyielding character. He would rather die than retreat. It was fine even if he had to give up his life to protect the city gate behind him. Ha ha ha! The long-robed man laughed mockingly. Then I want to see what kind of ability you will use to stop me. And what will you use to defend the people behind you? Chapter 21-21. Boom! At that moment, the few divine monarchs in the sect also stood up. A powerful aura spread out and swept towards Yun Qingya like an earth-shattering wave. Yun Qingya remained as motionless as a mountain. His expression did not change. His expression was very cold, and his face seemed to be shrouded in a layer of cold light. Second brother. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out from the sky. When Yun Qingya turned her head, she saw Bai Ling's figure appear in front of him. Sister-in-law, you're back? Yun Qingya was overjoyed as she said. Bai Ling's figure descended from the sky and stood beside Yun Qingya. She turned her head to look at the group of people behind her, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. I heard about the difficulties of the 7 continents, so I brought the people of the Wind and Cloud continent to help. These people should be from the Spirit God continent. When did the Spirit God continent have so many divine monarchs? In reality, the divine monarchs of the Spirit God continent were not as many as they knew. Even Qin Yuan, the son of the Qin family of the Spirit God continent, only knew of the existence of a few divine monarchs. On the contrary, there were many divine monarchs who hid in the world and did not appear in front of others. As time passed, those people would not know of their existence. Sister-in-law, let's not worry about that for now. Let's stop these people first and not let them enter the city gate. Inside the city gate, there are not only innocent residents, but also the people they wanted to protect. All right, second brother, sister-in-law, then let's work together to repel the enemy. Bai Ling smiled slightly, looking at the group of people with eyes filled with killing intent. At the same time, the enemies at the other 3 city gates also attacked. With Old Man June leading the way, it was relatively easy to defend the West Gate. Even if it was not easy to defend the other 2 city gates, they still used their iron-blooded bodies to block the attacking crowd. Right now, no one in the Spirit Continent knew that this defensive battle had lasted for a few months. Within a few months, both sides had suffered heavy losses, and they were unable to determine the victor. Even so, everyone was still persevering, causing the entire Spirit Continent to be shrouded in a bloody mist. No Return Continent. Endless City. Within the spacious room, Yun Luofeng placed down the last stone. At that moment, a powerful spiritual energy flowed within the stone. The spiritual energy connected and formed a prison cell. Yin Xiao, my formation is complete. Now, let's think of a way to let the 9-winged sky dragon in. Yun Luofeng wiped away the cold sweat on her forehead. After so many months, her array formation was finally completed. Get out of my way first. After saying that, Yun Luofeng added another sentence. Yin Xiao obediently took a few steps back. His eyes had never left Yun Luofeng since the beginning. His gaze had always been on her, and he had always been vigilant towards the movements in his surroundings. In these few months, Yin Luofeng had not only set up the array, but also figured out why the 9-winged sky dragon could not enter the room. Therefore, under Yun Xiao's gaze, Yin Luofeng slowly walked toward the rock on the altar. This stone was very big, and it was navy blue in color. It looked eerie and terrifying. Yin Xiao smashed this stone. After smashing it, immediately hide behind the array. After Yin Luofeng scanned the stone, he had already taken the lead and walked behind the array. I'm still writing. Chapter 21-22. At the same time, Yun Xiao's body leaped forward and his hard fist smashed into the stone with a loud bang. In an instant, the stone shattered under his power and drifted into the air. The moment the stone was destroyed, a powerful force was sent out. The force was very strong, and it quickly swept across the room. Feng, seeing that Yin Luofeng was also within the range of the impact, Yin Xiao's heart was in her throat. She used her fastest speed to rush toward her. But before Yin Xiao could reach Yin Luofeng, the little lowly Yin Chutian quickly blocked Yin Luofeng's way. Her big eyes were red with anger. Don't bully mother and little brother. Her words were a little unclear. Like a child who had just started learning to speak, her voice was a little stuttering. However, she still revealed her thoughts. She wanted to protect Yin Luofeng and the little brother in her stomach. Boom! When the impact reached Yin Chutian's face, it suddenly dissipated. Yes, it dissipated. That force only lifted Yin Luofeng's sleeves. It didn't even injure him in the slightest. Feng! Yin Xiao was so frightened that she pulled Yin Luofeng into her arms and hugged her tightly. Sorry, I shouldn't have been so far away from you just now. Yin Xiao, it's not your fault. I was the one who asked you to destroy the stone. Moreover, in this place, only you can destroy it. Yin Luofeng's lips curled into a smile like a flower. Boom! The 9-winged sky dragon fiercely slammed into the barrier that was blocking him. This time, the barrier didn't bounce him back. Instead, it instantly shattered and immediately rushed into the room. Roar! It roared angrily and rushed toward Yin Chutian, who was beside Yin Luofeng. Yin Chutian buried her body in Yin Luofeng's arms and pulled her sleeve tightly. Her big eyes were very innocent and spirited. It was as if she wasn't afraid of anything as long as she was beside Yin Luofeng. When a 9-winged sky dragon rushed over, the array was also activated. A giant cage rose from the ground and trapped him inside. Roar! The 9-winged sky dragon became even more irritable as it slammed into the giant cage with all its might. However, Its strength had dissipated by the time it reached the giant cage, and it could not exert any strength at all. Yun Luofeng no longer looked at the nine-winged sky dragon. She lowered her head and looked at Yun Chutian. Tian, tell me, who taught you to speak? In the past few months, she and Yun Xiao had been busy setting up the array formation, so no one had communicated with Yun Chutian. How could she suddenly speak? Yun Chutian blinked his big, ignorant eyes and pointed at Yun Luofeng's stomach. Little brother gave it to me. Yun Luofeng was stunned for a moment. He lowered his head to look at his stomach, then turned his gaze to Yun Chutian. Tian, tell me honestly who taught you? Seeing that Yun Luofeng didn't believe him, Yun Chutian felt wronged. It was really little brother who taught me. He also told me that you're my mother. He also said that after he comes out, he'll forget the memories of his previous life and ask me to protect him. Memories from his past life? Yun Luofeng felt that something was wrong, and doubt flashed in his eyes. Then can you tell me how you communicate? Little brother and I can communicate telepathically. I can hear what he says. At first, Yun Chutian's speech was not fluent, but it became more fluent as time went on. His big eyes were filled with an innocent light as he looked at Yun Luofeng without blinking. Chapter 21-23. Yun Luofeng muttered to himself. It seemed that this little girl was not simple. Furthermore, she was inextricably linked to her child. However, what made Yun Luofeng even more confused was what Yun Chutian's previous life memory was all about. Suddenly, a name flashed through Yun Luofeng's mind. When she thought of that name, she immediately gritted her teeth in hatred. We've been tricked by Tsangji. Back then, she got pregnant in Tsangji's wooden hut using the method that Tsangji gave her. She did not think too much about it back then. Now that she thought about it, perhaps it was all part of that bastard's plan. Good. Very good. Since Tsangji dared to scheme against her, then he could not blame her for being ruthless. Tian, do you like little brother? Yun Luofeng looked at Yun Chutian with a smile and asked. Yun Chutian blinked. Tian likes little brother. Okay, then when the time comes, mother will ask you to do one thing. Yun Luofeng's eyes flashed. In our Yun family, we only ask for one person for a lifetime. When little brother is born, help mother look after him. Don't let him harm innocent girls. Tsangji was such a womanizer. To put an end to his womanizing would be even harder than taking his life. More importantly, as her and Yun Zhao's son, he could not be so womanizing. Yun Chutian nodded, not fully understanding. Tian, listen to mother. Look after little brother and don't let him harm anyone. Okay. Yun Luofeng curled the corners of her lips. However, at this moment, her stomach ached and she could not help but cover it tightly. Fenger, what's wrong? Seeing the cold sweat on Yun Luofeng's forehead, Yun Zhao's expression suddenly became nervous. His eyes were filled with worry. He was afraid that Yun Luofeng was accidentally hurt by the shockwave just now. It's nothing. I think I'm going to give birth, Yun Luofeng said through gritted teeth. Yun Xiao was stunned. Giving birth? Fenger, what should I do? All these years, no matter what Yun Xiao did, he had always maintained a calm and composed appearance. That grim expression of his had never once changed. But at this moment, this powerful man, who held the entire world in his hands, felt a sense of helplessness. Go prepare some hot water. I need to wash up later. Yun Luofeng felt her stomach twitch. Her face was pale from the pain. Seeing Yun Luofeng in this state, how could Yun Xiao leave? He held Yun Luofeng's hand, his gaze sweeping over to Yun Yi, who was standing to the side. Go prepare some hot water. Yun Yi left after receiving the order. Yun Xiao tightly held onto Yun Luofeng's hand. Fenger, I will be by your side forever. It seemed that Yun Zhao's words had comforted Yun Luofeng, causing her expression to gradually calm down. Her lips curled into a smile as she said, Xiao, I'm fine. Give our son a name first. Name? I've already thought of it. He'll be called Yun Yinfeng. Yun Yinfeng. These three words filled Yun Luofeng's face with warmth. She felt the pain in her lower body, as if all the strength had been sucked out. Hence, at this moment, she could not answer Yin Zhao's question. Instead, she took out a piece of blood ginseng from her space and bit it. Only then did she feel her strength gradually recovering. This time, she gave birth for 3 days and 3 nights. She didn't know if it was because the child was special or if there were other reasons. But Yin Luofeng used many methods during the process, but she still couldn't give birth to the child. Because of this, Yin Zhao's eyes turned red with anxiety. His heart had long been dissatisfied with his unborn son, and after 3 days, the sound of crying resounded in this empty room. Chapter 21-24. Little Brother. Yin Chutian ran to Yin Luofeng with her short legs. She blinked her big eyes and looked at the baby in Yin Luofeng's arms. Her smile was as bright as a beautiful flower. Mother, Tian likes little brother. Yes. Yin Luofeng's eyes flickered. She noticed Yun Chutian's gaze and said, "Then I'll betroth little brother to you and let him be your child bride." What do you think? What's a child bride? Yin Chutian looked at Yun Luofeng curiously and asked in confusion. A child bride is just like your father and I. We'll never be separated in this lifetime and are the most important person in each other's lives. Yin Luofeng's lips curled into a sinister smile. Song Ji schemed against her, so she also schemed against Song Ji's entire life. Okay. Yin Chutian clapped and smiled. Tian wants to be little brother's child bride and become the second most important person in little brother's life. The second? What about the first one? The first one is mother. Yin Chutian nestled in Yin Luofeng's arms and smiled innocently. When little brother was in mother's stomach, he told Tian that mother was the most important person to him and asked Tian to protect mother. He also said that if Tian did it, then he would make Tian one of his women. Mother, what does little brother mean by that? Yin Luofeng was touched when she heard the first part of the sentence. She was even more hesitant about whether she had gone too far. But Yin Chutian's next words, however, made her face darken. You must remember, in the future, you will not allow little brother to flirt with innocent girls. If he dares to harm those innocent girls, beat him up for me. Yin Chutian blinked her eyes as if she understood. She did not know what mother meant by that. However, she understood that what her mother said was correct. Yin Xiao, the 9-winged sky dragon has been locked up. Let's leave now. Yin Luofeng persevered and stood up. In his arms was a tender baby, and his hand was holding Yin Chutian's. Originally, the newborn child was wrinkled, but the little guy in her arms was very pink and cute. Yin Luofeng couldn't help but stretch out her finger to touch his face, making her fingertips feel very elastic. The little fellow had not opened his eyes, but he could feel Yin Luofeng's fingers. A pair of short arms flailed wildly in the air, trying to grab onto those fingers that were touching him. You just gave birth. You need a rest. Yin Xiao frowned, her eyes filled with worry. I'm fine. Yin Luofeng shook his head, his voice calm. No. Yin Xiao raised her hand and took the little fellow from Yin Luofeng's arms and said very firmly, I heard that after a woman gives birth, she can't get out of bed for a month. So, let's return to the divine grimoire space first and wait for a month before we leave. As for other matters, Yin Xiao could rely on Yin Luofeng for everything. But he also had moments of decisiveness. For the sake of Yin Luofeng's health, he would not allow her to run around in exhaustion at this time. Feng if you suffer even the slightest injury, I will never be able to forgive myself. Yin Luofeng glanced at Yin Xiao. I'm a doctor. That won't do. Yin Xiao was very determined. It was rare for Yin Luofeng to see such a determined Yin Xiao. She shrugged her shoulders rather helplessly. Okay, then I'll wait for a month before leaving. Is that okay? Chapter 21-25. 7 Continents. Outside the gates of June City, in the sky, Yin Xingya stood in front of the group of experts. A cold and austere aura made the man's face look a little more grim and less indifferent. Second brother. Bai Ling stood in front of Yun Qingya. This battle has already lasted for a few months. If this goes on, it won't be a solution. We must finish off the enemy as soon as possible. This battle had already lasted for several months. More and more experts from the spirit god continent had come to the 7 continents. Even she was starting to feel a little powerless. However, on the other side of the spirit god continent, not far away, many people had joined the battle. Yun Qingya looked at the city gate that he was protecting behind him, and her eyes turned slightly cold. No matter what, we must persevere. Yun Qingya's voice was very cold. When he looked at Ning Xin, his eyes softened. Hexener, are you afraid? Ning Xin firmly shook her head. From the moment I followed you, I have already disregarded life and death. With you accompanying me in this life, it is enough. As long as she could be with him, she would have no regrets even if she died. All right. Yun Qingya retracted her gaze and once again faced the group of enemies in front of her. As she took a step forward, a cold and awe-inspiring aura spread out. The man stood in the air, ink flying in the air. His handsome face was expressionless as he coldly looked at the enemies in front of him. I still have the same words. If you want to enter June City, you must step over my, Yun Qingya's, corpse. When the experts on the other side heard Yun Qingya's voice, they all laughed out loud and quickly rushed towards Yun Qingya. Just him alone wanted to stop them? This was truly an idiot's dream. Bai Ling and Ning Xin stood beside Yun Qingya, one on the left and one on the right. At this moment, everyone was determined to die. At this moment, a familiar voice suddenly came from the air. This voice was filled with surprise as it slowly sounded in Yun Qingya's ears. Feng'er's second uncle, what happened here? Where are my father and the others? Within the void, 2 figures gradually appeared. The woman was dressed in a red robe that could topple a city. She looked valiant and formidable, while the man standing next to her had a gentle face like a spring breeze. You're back. When Yun Qingya saw the 2 people in the sky, a ray of light shot out from her cold eyes. Ever since Yun Luofeng had left, he had gone to look for Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen. However, he had not been able to find their whereabouts. He had not expected that they would actually appear now. Second brother, these 2 are, Bai Ling asked curiously as she looked at the man and woman descending from the sky. Sister-in-law, they're Shower's parents. Yun Qingya's heart slowly relaxed. You guys came at the right time. Feng'er left me 2 dragon saliva fruits. These dragon saliva fruits are also prepared for you guys. After you eat them, you can help me fight. Sister-in-law, Jun Fengling noticed the way Yun Qingya addressed Bai Ling. She raised her eyebrows and swept her gaze across Bai Ling's face. When she saw the face that was similar to Yun Luofeng's, a hint of surprise appeared in her eyes. Didn't Feng'er's mother pass away? Why would she still appear here? Of course, Jun Fengling also understood that this was not the time to ask about these things. She turned her gaze to Yun Qingya and asked, what is the dragon saliva fruit you're talking about? There's not much time left. I don't have time to explain it to you. Yun Qingya handed the dragon saliva fruit to the 2 of them. This is the dragon saliva fruit that Feng'er left behind. If there's anything else, I'll tell you after the battle is over. Chapter 21-26. All right. Jun Fengling trusted the Yun family and did not ask too many questions. She took the ambergris fruit and took a bite. Her mouth was filled with sweetness. At the same time, with a loud boom, a storm spiraled above her head. Not long after, heavenly lightning was born and struck down like a bolt of lightning. When Yun Qingya and the others broke through, they had the help of azure wings, which allowed them to easily pass the lightning tribulation. However, at this moment, Azure Wings was not in June City. Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen could only rely on their own bodies to resist the lightning tribulation in the void. The lightning tribulation lasted for a long time in the sky above June City, causing the residents of the city to be extremely shocked. However, they still hid in their houses and did not dare to come out, afraid that they would be affected by the battle. Outside West City, Grandpa Jun and Hong Ling were also struggling to hold on. The few months of battle had almost exhausted them. If they did not deal with these people soon, they might not be able to defend West City. Grandpa, do you still have the spiritual medicine that Miss Yin left behind? Hong Ling asked with a pale face as he wiped the sweat off his forehead. I used it all yesterday. Jun Lintian laughed bitterly. East Continent's lord, I asked you to come to Jun City to protect you. I didn't expect that I would need you to help me fend off these foreign enemies. Hong Ling smiled disapprovingly. I also obtained the ambergris fruit from Miss Yin. I can't just sit back and do nothing. Furthermore, his daughter was already dead, and this world didn't hold much attraction for him. If he could die on the battlefield, wouldn't it be a relief to him? Facing the menacing cultivators, Hong Ling gently closed his eyes. After a long time, he opened his eyes again. In the azure sky, it was as if Hong Wan's peerless figure had appeared. However, the figure was getting closer and closer. It was as if it could appear in front of him in the blink of an eye, and it was so real. Hong Ling fiercely rubbed her eyes and forcefully opened them once again. However, she suddenly discovered that a red figure was right in front of her. That absolutely stunning figure caused the corners of Hong Ling's mouth to rise into a bitter smile. It looks like I really miss Warner too much. I can actually see an illusion. I wonder when Warner will come and pick me up. Grandpa Jun also saw the enchanting figure in red. He rubbed his eyes filled with astonishment. You are fantasizing because you miss Hong Wan too much, but what about me? Too guilty? In addition to her fantasies, Hong Ling also heard a woman's soft murmur. Father, I'm back. Father, I'm back. Hong Ling opened his mouth and a tear rolled down from the corner of his eye. His lips curled into a bitter smile. If this is a dream, then I am willing to never wake up from this dream. In this way, his daughter would always be by his side, never to be separated. Boom! At this moment, the experts of Spirit God Continent had already launched their attacks. Rapidly arriving in front of Hong Ling's gaze was fixed on the dreamlike figure in front of her. From beginning to end, she was unable to come back to her senses. Jun Lintian's sharp eyes caught sight of Hong Ling in danger, and he turned pale with fright. East Continent Lord, watch out. Unfortunately, it was too late. Hong Ling looked at the incoming attacks and laughed. His laughter was filled with tears, and it was incomparably miserable. Luaner, it's great that I can see you before I die. Chapter 21-27. Hong Ling believed that he was able to see Hong Wan's illusion because his death was near and his daughter had come to take him away. However, just as the enemy's attack was about to reach him, the woman who had been standing in front of him suddenly moved. With a casual kick, she sent the attacking expert flying. With a loud crash, he fell into the crowd. Hong Ling was stunned. Jun Lintian was dumbfounded. Everyone else stopped what they were doing and stared at the beautiful woman in blood-red robes in astonishment. Luaner. Hong Ling stared at the woman in front of him. Luan was already dead, and her corpse was in Yun Luofeng's hands. How could she possibly be here? This must be an illusion. It must be. Hong Ling's body trembled uncontrollably as he thought this. He reached out to touch Hong Wan's face. Hong Wan grabbed Hong Ling's hand and placed his coarse fingers on her face. The warmth caused Hong Ling's fingers to stiffen. There's a touch and warmth. This isn't an illusion. It's the real Wan. At that moment, Hong Wan could no longer control his emotions. He opened his arms and pulled Hong Wan tightly into his embrace as he sobbed. You're back. You're finally back. No one knew how he had managed to continue living after his daughter's death. If it had not been for the fact that he could not let go of the East Continent, he would have followed her. Father, I'm back. Hong Wan allowed Hong Ling to hug her tightly as her lips curled into a smile, and she spoke gently. Jun Lintian blinked in disbelief as he stared at Hong Wan's beautiful face in astonishment. Miss Hong Wan, what's going on? I'll explain once I've dealt with everyone here. Hong Wan raised his brows and turned to look at the group of cultivators behind him. If my guess is correct, you're all from the Spirit God Continent. You've killed me, and now you're trying to enter the 7 continents. Hong Wan, You'll never be able to leave this place alive. Apart from the East and West districts, the South and North districts were also in danger. There were too many experts from the Spirit God continent, and they kept coming. Even the divine sovereigns had sent a few more, which made it difficult for everyone to deal with them. However, when the southern city was in danger, Nangong Uni suddenly appeared. He was like a deity that descended from the heavens and defended the southern city that was about to fall. Huang Yingying and the others were originally guarding the southern part of the city. Now that she saw Nangong Uni appear out of thin air, a trace of surprise appeared in her eyes. Moreover, in the short span of a year, Nangong Uni's strength had actually changed so much. Young Master Nangong, Huang Yingying wanted to say something, but she could not find the words. In reality, Huang Yingying was very grateful to Nangong Uni. If it weren't for Nangong Uni's guidance, she wouldn't have been able to avenge her parents, let alone become Yun Luofeng's subordinate. What's the situation with the other city gates? Nangong Uni's voice was indifferent, his expression indifferent. That playful young man had unknowingly become a person who could take charge of things on his own. I'm not too sure. Nangong Uni pondered for a moment before he said, "Continue to guard the city gates. I'll go take a look at the other places." As soon as he finished speaking, Nangong Uni's faintly discernible figure disappeared. Chapter 21-28. Inside the city gate, on a quiet street. Yin Ruoxue looked behind her carefully. Seeing that no one had noticed her, she walked toward the city gate cautiously. By the way, which gate are Daddy and Mommy guarding? Yin Ruoxue lightly touched her forehead. With her poor memory, she had even forgotten where her parents had gone to guard the city gates. Forget it, I'll just look for a random gate. If it's not for Daddy and Mommy, I'll leave then. The corners of Yin Ruoxue's lips curved into a bright smile. But when she thought about how long this battle had been going on, her heart was filled with worry. Daddy, Mommy, I hope you don't blame me. I've already waited for you for a few months. Although Grandpa said that you wouldn't be in danger, I'm still worried. Yin Ruoxue bit her lip, her eyes filled with tears. But don't worry, I'll just sneak a peek. Once I see that you're safe, I'll leave. I won't be a burden to you. At this thought, Yin Ruoxue walked toward the street in front of her. She was heading in the direction of the North Gate. The person guarding the North Gate was the head of the Jun family, Jun Xian. He was struggling to deal with the enemies when he suddenly saw Yin Ruoxue sneaking out from the city gate. He was so shocked that his heart almost skipped a beat. Yin Ruoxue's eyes flashed with disappointment when she saw that it wasn't Yin Xingya and her husband guarding the North Gate. She pursed her lips and said, "Uncle Jun Xian, do you know where my parents are? I haven't seen them for a few months. I'm very worried about them." In the beginning, Yin Ruoxue had listened to Yin Xingya and her husband and waited obediently at the Jun residence. But she was still a child, and her parents had been fighting for months. How could she not be worried? So she sneaked out when no one was paying attention. Of course, she would definitely be punished when she returned. But so what? As long as she could be sure that her parents were safe, she was willing to be beaten up. Shui-er, hurry up and leave. Jun Xian shouted hurriedly. This is not a place for you to stay, especially where your parents are. You can't go. Uncle Jun Xian, tell me where Daddy and Mommy are. I'll just look at them from afar. Yin Ruoxue's eyes were filled with a pitiful light as she bit her lip and looked at Jun Xian. Just as Jun Xian was about to speak, he saw an elder not far away casually throw out a beam of light, which directly attacked Yin Ruoxue. Yin Ruoxue was still young, and she had thought that she would be safe if she hid behind the city gates. Little did she know that the battle between these experts did not care about distance. Therefore, Yin Ruoxue blinked as she stared at the sword light that had suddenly attacked her. For a moment, she was unable to react, and she even forgot to dodge. It was only when she was pulled into a warm embrace that she came back to her senses in a daze. The youth hugged Yin Ruoxue's body tightly and dodged to the side, avoiding the attack. His back was already drenched in sweat, and fear filled his heart. He didn't dare to imagine that if he had returned a step later, would he have been unable to see this little girl again? Brother Wu Yin, you're back? Yin Roashue giggled as she looked at the youth behind her. She seemed to be naturally slow-witted, and even the grave danger that had just occurred had been thrown to the back of her mind. Chapter 21-29. Shue'er. Chung Huiyin roared angrily. Do you know that you almost died just now? Yin Roashue blinked her big, innocent eyes. I knew that Brother Wu Yin would definitely appear and save me. Shue'er believes in you. You. Chung Huiyin was so angry that he did not know what to say. He looked at the innocent and ignorant little girl in front of him and could not even reprimand her. Yin Roashue, did I owe you in my previous life? You won't be satisfied until you scare me to death, right? Chung Huiyin was gnashing his teeth in anger. He really owed this lass a lot in this lifetime. Brother Wu Yin. Yin Roashue wrapped her arms around Chung Huiyin's neck, a bright smile blossoming on her innocent little face. You're right. You owe me in your past life. That's why Shue'er wants to pester you. Although the young girl had not fully developed, her small body already had a faint fragrance. As the young girl approached, that faint fragrance also rushed into the tip of his nose. With a loud bang, Chung Huiyin felt as if his head was about to explode. A crimson blush flashed across his face, and he hurriedly coughed twice to demonstrate his awkwardness. You go and stay here first. I brought some people with me to settle this matter. Chung Huiyin gently pursed his lips and said to the sky, Long Yin, I'll have to trouble you to settle these people. Roar. A dragon's roar rang out, and not long after, Long Yan's huge body appeared in the void. That's right. The expert from the ancestral dragon clan who had come this time was Long Yin, who was ranked second in the ancestral dragon clan. He was also the dragon who had a dispute with Yin Luofeng. When Yin Luofeng left the spirit god continent, he told Chung Huiyin that he could seek help from the dragon clan if needed. When Chung Huiyin heard that the spirit god continent had joined forces to besiege the 7 continents, he immediately made a trip to the ancestral dragon clan. The ancestral dragon clan attached great importance to this matter, so the dragon clan leaders sent Long Yin here. Under Long Yan's attack, the group of experts from the spirit god continent had long been defeated. After a while, they fell on the street in front of the city gate. The numerous corpses piled up into a small hill, and the entire sky was dyed red with blood. Brother Wu Yin, I'm going to look for my parents. Yin Roashue clung onto Chung Huiyin's body, her large eyes filled with worry. A few months ago, these people from the spirit god continent attacked the 7 continents. Father and mother also personally went to stop them. Now that a few months have passed, Shue'er is very worried about them. Where are your parents? Hearing this, Yin Roashue turned to look at Jun Xian. Uncle Jun Xian, can you tell me where my parents are now? Jun Xian glanced at Chung Huiyin before looking at the giant dragon hovering in the void. He nodded gently and said, They are in the eastern part of the city. Apart from the North City, the other city gates also had their victors. Due to the return of Jun Fengling and Yi Jingqian in the eastern city, and, as Yin Luofeng had expected, they had used the power of the dragon saliva fruit to break through to the divine monarch level. Therefore, the divine monarchs of the spirit god continent were quickly defeated. In the western part of the city was Hong Wan. Under Hong Wan's bloodlust, these people had no chance of escaping. Very soon, they all fell into a pool of blood. As for the southern city, the people who had besieged the southern city were not very strong. When Nangong Uni appeared, he killed the strongest few of them. It would not be a problem to leave the rest to the Sacred Maiden tribe. Chapter 21-30. At this moment, in the western part of the city, Nangong Uni had just arrived when he saw the woman chatting cheerfully with Hong Ling. His eyes widened, and he rubbed them in disbelief. This? Hong Wan? He was not mistaken. Was it really Hong Wan? For a moment, Nangong Uni stopped in his tracks. He wanted to step forward a few times, but he did not have the courage. He could only stare blankly at her from a distance. He seemed to be afraid that if he took another step forward, Hong Wan would disappear. Hong Wan seemed to sense Nangong Yuni's gaze. She turned to look at the handsome man who had appeared next to her and a smile appeared on her peerless face. Nangong Yuni, long time no see. Don't you recognize me? The woman's voice was very familiar. It was the same as before, and it made Nangong Yuni feel as if he had first met her. All sorts of feelings welled up in his heart at this moment. Agitation, excitement, or perhaps an indescribable feeling attacked his entire heart. Hong Wan, you're still alive? She was still alive? Was he dreaming? Hong Ling returned to her senses and asked, Wanner, can you tell me what's going on? You're clearly dead, and your corpse is with Miss Yen. Why are you here now? It's a long story. Hong Wan smiled. Back then, I really did die. I even went to the underworld. The underworld? Hong Ling was stunned. The underworld really existed? Originally, those who enter the underworld after death are unable to leave the underworld for the rest of their lives. If they appear on the mainland, their souls will immediately scatter. Hong Wan glanced at Hong Ling and continued. Hong Ling returned to her senses. Then why are you? Why can you still appear here? Father, no matter what kind of rules it is, as long as you have great power, you can break them. Hong Wan's expression was very serious. I was lucky and obtained a great opportunity. That was how I obtained great power in a short period of time. That was how I was able to break the rules of the heavenly way and return to the mainland. In other words, the current Hong Wan was still only a spiritual body. It was only because of her control over power that she was able to appear in a physical form. There was only one way to completely resurrect, and that was to resurrect through a well-preserved corpse. Miss Hong Wan, Grandpa Jun became excited. You said that a person can go to the netherworld after death? Then, can my deceased wife also be found in netherworld? Hong Wan was startled. She remained silent for a long while. She seemed to be unable to bear it, but she still answered truthfully, the underworld is much more savage than the 7 continents. Large-scale massacres are frequent. Old Madame June has passed away for so many years. I can't guarantee that she's still in the underworld. Hearing that, Grandpa June sighed and smiled bitterly. Actually, I also know that this is just an extravagant hope of mine. So what if she is still in the netherworld? I can't get in and she can't get out. The separation of yin and yang was so cruel. The experts who came to attack the West City have been slaughtered. Let's go and help the people at the other city gates, Grandpa June said solemnly as he gradually regained his composure. Nangong Yuni finally retracted his gaze from Hong Wan and looked at Grandpa June. I passed by the North City on my way here. The North City is no longer a problem. You don't need to go anymore. There's still the East City and the South City, Grandpa June said with a frown. Especially the East City. I'm afraid Yin Xingya won't be able to defend it. Chapter 21:31. Just as Old Master June finished speaking, he saw Yin Xingya and Ning Xian walking over hand in hand. His heart was finally at ease. The appearance of Yin Xingya here was also an indirect proof that the East City was already safe. However, Jun Lintian soon saw Jun Fengling and his wife behind Yin Xingya. His eyes widened and his tone became excited. Linger, you're back. In fact, Old Master June had sensed that someone was breaking through. However, he did not think that it was Jun Fengling. He thought that someone from Spirit God Continent had broken through. Now that he saw Jun Fengling and his wife, he suddenly realized something. Before Yin Xingya left, she said that Ling and his wife were extremely talented. If they consumed the dragon saliva fruit, they would definitely break through to Divine Emperor, Old Master June. Old Master June returned just now. He was worried about you, so he asked us to come take a look. Now that the enemies have been slaughtered, Spirit Continent is finally safe. Hearing this voice, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. Yin Xingya's gaze was originally on Jun Lintian, so she did not notice Hong Wan's presence. Now, when she turned her gaze, she saw Hong Wan and was completely stunned. Miss Hong Wan? Was he sure he wasn't seeing things? Why would Miss Hong Wan appear here? It's a long story. Let's go back and talk about it slowly. Jun Lintian sighed. Yin Xingya and Xiao have been gone for so long. I wonder when they will return. However, Fortunately, after Yin Luofeng and the others did not return, they protected this pure land. Father, I heard about what happened here from Feng'er's uncle. Let's go back and talk about it. That bastard dared to invade the 7 continents. We cannot sit still and wait for death. A cold glint flashed across June Fengling's eyes. Her gaze became colder and colder, faintly containing a strong storm. All right, let's go back and talk about how to take revenge on those people. June Lintian was not that easy to deal with. If they dare to invade, they must be prepared to receive revenge. Spirit God Continent. Yution paced back and forth anxiously, looking very unhappy. Right at this time, several old men descended from the sky and slowly walked towards Yution. Yution, why did you call us here in such a hurry? The one who asked this question was a green-robed old man. He had an impatient expression on his face. Perhaps he was unhappy with Yution for disturbing their seclusion. I have no other choice now, so I asked you to come. Yution smiled bitterly. Do you still remember Zhu Qian? Zhu Qian? This name was like thunder piercing their ears, causing all of them to tremble. Some of them even revealed looks of terror, their faces faintly pale. To them, the name Zhu Qian was a nightmare. Why are you mentioning Zhu Qian now? That guy is already dead. The other gray-robed old man gritted his teeth, as if he was trying to force himself to believe that Zhu Qian had died. Furthermore, back then, Zhu Qian had suffered such heavy injuries. It was impossible for him to have survived. Zhu Qian is indeed dead. However, some time ago, I saw his reincarnation. Yution gently closed his eyes. Originally, he didn't want to tell these old men about this. However, he had no other choice now. Chapter 2132. Zhu Qian's Reincarnation? Are you sure you're not mistaken? The last elder was dressed in a golden yellow robe. He exuded a noble and awe-inspiring aura, and there was a lifelike dragon embroidered on his sleeves. His originally expressionless face began to change as Yution spoke. There's no way I'm mistaken. That's Zhu Qian's reincarnation. Yution lowered his eyes as the man's figure appeared in his mind. He gritted his teeth and said, although his personality has changed drastically, I can still recognize him even if he turns into ashes. However, you can rest assured that Zhu Qian's strength isn't as good as before. There's no need to be afraid. The few old men were stunned and stared at Yution suspiciously. If that's the case, why did you bring us here? Zhu Qian isn't in any danger, but Yution's lips curled into a bloodthirsty, murderous intent. I saw a little girl who has an extraordinary relationship with Zhu Qian. Her talent is even more terrifying than Zhu Qian's back then. If she's allowed to grow, the consequences will be unimaginable. The former Zhu Qian was already a nightmare in their hearts. Now, there was a little girl who was even more terrifying than Zhu Qian. Yution, are you trying to deceive us? Zhu Qian's talent is already strong enough. How can there be someone stronger than him? Besides, it's just a little girl. What could she do to us? The yellow-clothed old man, Feng Yongqing, had a disdainful look on his face. He was even more disapproving of Yution's words. Yution smiled coldly when he saw their expressions. That little girl is only in her 20s and has already reached the ultimate god realm. Do you think Zhu Qian could reach the ultimate god realm at her age? The few old men were shocked. An ultimate god in her 20s? She's not just a genius. She's a monster. Not only that, but she can also make the Dragon Clan side with her. Just now, I sent people to the 7 Continents continent, intending to eliminate her and the people from the 7 Continents continent. Not long ago, the Dragon Clan heard the news and immediately sent that bastard Long Yin to the 7 Continents continent to help. Yution's words made the few old men even more surprised. The patriarch of the ancestral Dragon Clan was an extremely arrogant person. How could he help a human girl? This was completely illogical. Moreover, the man next to this girl is also very young, but he has already reached Sir God. I feel that if I were to fight with him, I would only be able to win by a narrow margin. Yution was already the ruler of this piece of land. He was basically invincible. Yet, he claimed that he did not have complete confidence in defeating a divine lord, and that he could only win by a narrow margin. Since when did the continent have so many geniuses? If these things don't shock you, I could tell you one more thing. Do you still remember that Zhu Qian's puppet technique shocked everyone in the world? Moreover, the reason we chased after him back then was also to obtain this puppet technique. Yu Tian threw down another heavy blow. Unfortunately, even Zhu Qian could only refine puppets without souls. It was normal for a puppet to have no soul. What Zhu Qian had been researching all these years was to give a puppet life. Unfortunately, he was unable to figure it out until his death. However, Yu Tian paused, then continued. A few months ago, I fought with that girl. She had a puppet by her side. This puppet already possessed life and was no different from a normal person. Boom! Yu Tian's last sentence was like a heavy blow. The few old men's faces turned pale with fright. Chapter 21:33. That girl actually has such an ability? No, she must die. Otherwise, the threat she poses to us will far exceed that of Zhu Qian. The gray-robed elder, Kong Fengling, frowned as a murderous aura appeared in his eyes. Yu Tian, where is that girl now? The 7 continents. Yu Tian gritted his teeth. I think that girl won't dare to leave the 7 continents. Otherwise, we can kill her immediately. The 7 continents. The green-robed elder, Wei Xiang, was stunned. Then he fell in a deep thought. As the rulers of the Spirit God continent, it was impossible for them to leave the Spirit God continent. If they continued to wait, that last would grow even faster. Everyone, I've asked all of you to come here because I've already thought of a way. Yu Tian smiled slightly as a sinister light flashed in his eyes. This girl is rather loyal. Back then, she killed her way into the Spirit God continent because the people of the Spirit God continent had captured her disciple's mother. If we attack the ancestral dragon clan, that girl will definitely appear. The ancestral dragon clan? The few old men were stunned for a moment, and then they all fell silent. I know that fighting the ancestral dragon clan is risky. After all, they're very powerful. However, we were able to drive them out of the humans' territory back then. That has already proved that we humans are far more powerful than the dragon clan. Yu Tian continued with a smile. Furthermore, if the 4 of us join forces, that old man from the ancestral dragon clan will not be our match. Wei Xiang frowned again. Back then, we only forced the ancestral dragon clan to leave. We did not kill them all because the 5 of us are the core of the Spirit God continent. None of us can be missing. If even one of us is missing, the Spirit God continent will immediately collapse. If it collapses, then so be it. Yu Tian's lips curled. We've already reached this realm. We can't make any more breakthroughs. As for the true gods, they're also legendary existences. If the Spirit God continent collapses, this space will cease to exist. The people of the Spirit God continent will only merge with the 7 continents. They will not cause us any harm. When the others heard this, they did not say anything else. It was indeed as Yu Tian had said. They could not achieve anything. Since that was the case, why would they still guard the Spirit God continent? Of course, there was a reason why Yu Tian hadn't thought about leaving Spirit God continent. He only knew how to become the core of the formation, but he didn't know how to remove it. So, it was impossible for him to leave Spirit God continent, even if he wanted to. All right, let's do that. Feng Yongqing immediately made a decision. We cannot let that girl continue to grow. Otherwise, she will definitely endanger our existence. Only when she dies can we be at ease. But if we use the ancestral dragon clan as a threat, will that girl really appear? Yu Tian sneered. I'm just trying my luck. If she can appear, it would be for the best. If she does not appear, we will immediately kill that old man from Dragon Clan. At that time, the restrictions on our bodies will also be lifted, and it will be the same to go to the 7 continents. When Yu Tian finished speaking, no one said anything else. They had already tasted the difficulties that Zhu Qian had brought them. This time, They absolutely couldn't let the same thing happen again. Since that's the case, we'll set off with the Dragon Clan now. Kong Fengling was silent for a moment as he looked at the azure sky outside the door. We can't be blamed for this. Blame that lass for knowing Zhu Qian and growing so quickly. Chapter 21:34. At the same time, in the Seven Continents. The moment Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao appeared, they were discovered by the sharp-eyed Jun family members. Immediately, the Jun family servants scrambled to the Jun family to inform them. In an instant, the entire Jun family was in an uproar. Under Jun Lintian's lead, a group of people walked out. From afar, they saw a handsome man and a beautiful woman under the sun. The man was dressed in black and had a cold expression. Only when he looked at the woman next to him would he occasionally reveal a gentle gaze. He held a swaddle in his arms. The baby in the swaddle giggled from time to time. His delicate face was filled with a cute smile, and his big bright eyes were very clear. Yun Luofeng stood beside Yun Xiao. Her white clothes fluttered in the wind, and she was as beautiful as a celestial being in a painting. She was holding a little girl who was about 4 or 5 years old. This scene looked like a family of 4. It was so beautiful that no one could bear to destroy it. Feng, you're finally back. Old Master Yin laughed out loud and quickly walked towards his granddaughter. When he saw the little baby in Yun Zhao's arms, his eyes lit up. This is my great-grandson? Good boy. Let great-grandfather hug you. Little Yinfeng was not afraid of strangers. When he saw the old master's hand, he giggled and even opened his arms for a hug. Bai Ling and Jun Fengling walked over together, leaving Yi Jingchun behind with a face full of resentment. He looked at Bai Ling, who had seduced his wife, and felt very wronged. Ever since Bai Ling and Jun Fengling got to know each other, the in-laws had a feeling of regret for not getting to know each other earlier. As the daughter-in-law of the general's residence, Bai Ling was naturally attracted by Jun Fengling's valiant aura. Thus, the two of them are like sisters now. Even Yi Jingchun had to step aside. Fenger, this little girl is... Bai Ling looked at the little girl in Yun Luofeng's arms and asked curiously. Yun Chutian hid behind Yun Luofeng in fear. He looked at the strangers in front of him with a pair of timid eyes. He looked very timid. Tian don't be afraid. These are my family. Yun Luofeng could feel Yun Chutian's fear. She patted her little hand and comforted her. Mother, she's Yun Chutian. She's also my goddaughter. This little girl is cute and obedient. She's very likable. Jun Fengling chuckled. Perhaps she was afraid of scaring the little girl, so her voice became very gentle. Little Tian I'm your grandmother. Be good and bring her to me. Yin Chutian blinked and turned to look at Yun Luofeng, as if asking for her opinion. When she saw Yun Luofeng nod at her, she carefully left from behind Yun Luofeng and walked towards Bai Ling and Jun Fengling. She called out obediently, Grandmother, good girl. Jun Fengling's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. The word grandmother had really melted her bones. Little Tian I'm your maternal grandmother. Bai Ling also waved at Yun Chutian. Come here and let Grandma see you. Yun Chutian blinked again and obediently walked toward Bai Ling. Her voice was soft, tender, and adorable. Grandmother, Bai Ling was very happy. Not only did Yun Luofeng bring back her own grandson, but she also adopted such a cute and obedient little girl. Little Yun, did you name the child? Jun Lintian had already arrived in front of Yun Luofeng. His smile was very bright, and his eyes were full of joy. Chapter 21:35. Yun Yinfeng. At the mention of her son's name, Yun Luofeng's gaze softened. Her gaze fell on the infant in the swaddling clothes, and her eyes shone with motherly love. Yun Yinfeng. Jun Lintian laughed. It's indeed a good name. Yun Yinfeng. Wasn't that the meaning of Yun Zhao's yearning for Yun Luofeng? TSK. This young couple's relationship is so good that it makes others envious. Grandfather. Yun Luofeng's gaze turned towards old man Yun. While I was away, did something happen in the 7 continents? Old Master Yun was startled. He glanced at Yin Luo Feng and then told her about the recent happenings in the 7 continents. When she heard that the experts of the spirit god continent had come to the 7 continents to carry out a massacre, her expression immediately turned cold. Killing intent surged from her body. However, when old Master Yin told her about Hong Wan's return, a look of surprise appeared on her face, followed by boundless joy and excitement. Hong Wan has really returned from the netherworld? That's right, but Hong Wan has returned to East Continent Prefecture to attend to some matters, so she's not here. At this moment, Yin Luofeng's heart was filled with mixed feelings. That day, when she heard about Hong Wan's death, the rage in her heart was enough to burn the entire world. Who would have thought that Hong Wan would return? Hong Wan's corpse is still with me, and it has been preserved very well. With his corpse here, resurrecting Hong Wan will not be a problem. However, Yin Luofeng turned to Jun Lintian. Grandpa Jun, I'll have to trouble you to summon those from the Holy Maiden tribe and the Witch tribe back. The Spirit God continent has gone too far. I, Yin Luofeng, will not let them off so easily. If Yin Xing'a hadn't broken through to Divine Lord, if Hong Wan and Jun Fengling had not returned, she did not dare to imagine what she would see when she arrived at Ling Continent. Fortunately, he had informed Speechless to seek help from the Dragon Clan, no matter what happened. Because of this, the Jun family didn't suffer any casualties, of course. There were no casualties among those who came to the Ling Continent. However, the rest of the continent suffered heavy casualties. All right, Jun Lintian nodded solemnly. Now that Yin Luofeng had returned, it was time for them to exact their revenge on the Spirit God continent. Within a few days, the news of Yin Luofeng's return spread throughout the 7 continents. Those forces that were on good terms with Yin Luofeng rushed over, intending to contribute to the invasion of the Spirit God continent. Hong Wan and Yin Luofeng met again. Their expressions were somewhat sad. In the end, Yin Luofeng took 2 steps forward and gently hugged Hong Wan. Welcome back. Hong Wan's lips curled into an enchanting smile. I've spent my entire life chasing after your footsteps. Before I catch up to you, how could I possibly die? Hong Wan. Yin Luofeng released the woman in his arms and smiled. When I missed Feng, you weren't here. Now that the child has been born, why don't you become his godmother? I couldn't ask for more. Hong Wan hugged Yin Luofeng back, and the two looked at each other and smiled. Actually, Yin Luofeng's eyes flashed, and he suddenly said, Nangong Yuni isn't a bad person. Why don't you consider her? My Nianfeng can't only have a godmother without a godfather. Hong Wan's face flashed with embarrassment. Then, the man's handsome face appeared in her mind, and she gently pursed her lips. That depends on his performance. Chapter 2136. It was not that easy to become her husband. Yin Luofeng smiled and spoke to a nearby corner. Nangong, did you hear that? You have to perform well and become Nianfeng's godfather as soon as possible. Hong Wan's expression stiffened and she followed Yin Luofeng's gaze. Only then did she see a handsome figure walk out from the corner. Instantly, a crimson blush flashed across her beautiful face. Luoner, I will perform well. Nangong Yuni's eyes shone brightly. I will strive to be promoted as soon as possible. Hong Wan angrily kicked Nangong Yuni's, but what do you mean by promoted? Do you even know how to speak? Nangong Yuni felt wronged. He rubbed his sore butt and said pitifully, I didn't say anything wrong. I want to be promoted as soon as possible and become Nianfeng's godfather. Hong Wan glared fiercely at Nangong Yuni. Dream on. After saying this, she turned around and walked forward. However, she could not help but caress her burning cheeks. Her footsteps were hurried, as if she was afraid of being discovered. It seems that your hard work has paid off. Yin Luofeng walked to Nangong Yuni's side and patted his shoulder. No matter what, I will support you. I also believe that you can bring happiness to Hong Wan, but suddenly, Yin Luofeng's tone turned serious, and he said solemnly, I will say the ugly things first. Although you're my old friend from 2 lives, if you dare to harm Hong Wan, I will not let you off. She has always been the one to bully me. When have I ever bullied her? Nangong Uni pursed his lips. Even when Hong Wuan bullied him, he had always been willing to endure it. Yun Luofeng smiled. After this battle is over, the two of you can have a good chat. I believe that Hong Wuan has feelings for you. Nangong Uni nodded solemnly. He thought of the upcoming battle and asked, Do you have confidence in this battle? No, but I must fight. Yin Luofeng raised his head slightly. I will not let anyone bully me and get away scot-free. Nangong Yuni's mood was very heavy. He fell silent for a while before looking at Yin Luofeng again. If you want to fight, I will risk my life to accompany you. Luan will definitely do the same. In this life, he only had one lover and one friend. For these two people, he would go through fire and water without hesitation. Yun Luofeng didn't say anything else. She patted Nangong Yuni's shoulder and said, Go find Hong Wuan. Bring Hong Wuan here tonight. I want to help her completely revive. Nangong Yuni did not say anything else. He turned around and chased after Hong Wuan. Not long after, he saw Hong Wuan waiting for him not too far away. Wuan, looking at the peerless woman in front of him, Nangong Yuni didn't know what to say for a moment. Actually, when I first found out that you were Yun Luofeng's friend, I had already forgiven you. Hong Wuan glanced at Nangong Yuni and continued, I believe in Yun Luofeng's judgment. Naturally, I would not suspect anyone by her side. Hong Wuan had absolute trust in Nangong Yuni. Even though Nangong Yuni was only her friend, she understood that what had happened that day was just a misunderstanding. Nangong Yuni, you probably know that since I'm friends with Yin Luofeng, our personalities are definitely similar. So, I definitely can't tolerate my man having other women. Can you do that? Chapter 2137. Luaner, don't worry. I won't do anything to let you down. Nangong Yuni thought that Hong Wuan did not believe him and quickly swore. The corners of Hong Wuan's lips curled up. Good. I've already received your guarantee. I'm relieved. As for whether I can accept you or not, I still need to understand more. Perhaps it was her experiences since young that made her protect herself. She had not accepted Nangong Yuni for so long because she was afraid of being hurt again. Before she was sure that he would not hurt her, she would not allow herself to accept him completely. Nangong Yuni's eyes were filled with joy. I'll let you understand me, however you want to understand me. Waner, from the moment I saw you, I knew that you were the woman I wanted in this life. No matter how long it takes, I'm willing to follow behind you. As long as you don't give up, I won't leave you. Hong Wuan raised her brows and glanced at Nangong Yuni once more before turning to walk out of the yard. Very soon, a figure appeared before Nangong Yuni's eyes. Nangong Yuni was so excited that he almost jumped up. He had never thought that Hong Wuan would say something like this to him. Did this mean that she was slowly accepting him in her heart? Luaner, I won't let you down in this lifetime. I must perform well and strive to be promoted as soon as possible. Hong Wuan's resurrection was simple. Yin Luofeng had prepared the medicinal herbs beforehand and placed her corpse in the medicinal herbs. When Hong Wuan appeared at night, she could be resurrected immediately. Of course, when Hong Wuan was resurrected, Yin Luofeng also asked her about her deceased father. In fact, Hong Wuan knew Yun Luofeng's family very well. She had looked for Yun Yang's whereabouts after entering the underworld, but he did not exist in the entire underworld. When he heard the news, Yun Luofeng's hand paused, and he sighed helplessly. Yin Yang was no longer in the underworld, which meant that he had completely disappeared. Bai Ling would not be able to handle this news, so Yin Luofeng had asked Hong Wuan not to let Bai Ling know. Fortunately, Hong Wuan knew this as well. Therefore, when Bai Ling had asked her that day, she had only brushed it off and did not pay attention. Hong Wuan, it's about time. After a while, Yin Luofeng slowly stood up. Get up and move around a bit. See if you can adapt to your body. Hearing this, Hong Wuan crawled out of the medicinal tub. She moved her shoulders a little and said, Not really used to it. I'm used to the feeling of my soul floating. I really can't get used to this body. You'll be fine if you move around a little more. Yin Luofeng looked at Hong Wuan and said with a smile, As long as it doesn't affect your powers, it proves that this resurrection was a success. After speaking, Hongwan gently closed her eyes. After sensing the powerful energy in her body, she opened her eyes and a sense of shock flashed across her eyes. My current strength is actually the same as when I used my soul body. That's right. Yin Luofeng raised the corner of his lips and said with a faint smile, I added a spirit herb into the bathtub. It will allow your soul and body to completely merge. Your previous strength will not disappear. Hongwan was overjoyed. What she was most afraid of was that the power she had obtained after experiencing countless life and death situations in the netherworld would disappear after her resurrection. Now that she saw that her power was still there, she was completely relieved. Chapter 2138. Fonger. At this moment, Yin Xingya's voice came from outside the door. Someone from the Ancestral Dragon Clan is here. He said he wants to see you. Ancestral Dragon Clan? Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows. All right, have it wait in the hall. I'll be there shortly. At this moment, in the hall, a young man dressed in green robes was anxiously pacing back and forth. His eyes were filled with anxiety. Suddenly, he caught a glimpse of Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao, who were walking towards him under the moonlight. A light flashed through his eyes. This lady is most likely Lady Yun. Yun Luofeng's gaze fell on the azure-robed man. You came all the way from the spirit god continent. What business do you have with me? It's like this. The green-robed man's face was a little pale. You Tian and a few other old fellows have attacked our ancestral dragon clan and imprisoned our clan leader. He said that he wants Miss Yin to see him. Otherwise, he will kill our clan leader. The people of the ancestral dragon clan had always been honest, so they naturally wouldn't lie to Yun Luofeng. Instead, they spoke the truth. As for Yun Luofeng's choice, that was her own business. Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao looked at each other, neither of them saying anything. After a long while, she finally turned her gaze towards the green-robed man, her expression slowly darkening. I understand. Yu Tian couldn't come to the Seven Continents continent to deal with me, so he used the Ancestral Dragon Clan to force me out. However, even if he didn't use the Ancestral Dragon Clan as a threat, I still plan to go to the Spirit God continent to settle the score with him. She narrowed her eyes, and a cold glint flashed across her eyes. Go back to the Ancestral Dragon Clan first. I'll come over after making some preparations. Thank you, Miss Yin. The green-robed man's expression was filled with gratitude. He cupped his fists and walked towards the door. Long Luo had been by Yun Luofeng's side ever since she got to know him. Now, she, who was playing around with the little worm in the divine grimoire space, also heard the commotion outside and immediately appeared before Yun Luofeng. Her face was filled with anxiety. Before she could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by Yun Luofeng. You don't have to worry. Since the Ancestral Dragon Clan has sent people to help the Jun family, I will definitely not sit idly by. We'll prepare tonight and set off tomorrow. Yun Luofeng comforted Long Luo. Then, he ordered everyone to gather at the Jun residence the next morning. After she gave her instructions, she went down to rest with Yin Xiao. Night fell. The moonlight was like water. The door to the room was pushed open by a small hand. Yun Luofeng, who was about to take off her clothes and sleep with Yun Xiao, immediately turned her head to look. Under the cold moonlight, she saw a little lowly who looked like she was carved out of jade walking towards her. Tianer, what is it? Yun Luofeng got up from the bed and walked towards Yun Chutian. She bent down with a gentle expression and rubbed Yun Chutian's head. Mother. Yun Chutian hooked his arm around Yun Luofeng's neck, an innocent and bright smile on his little face. Tian, has something to give Mother. You'll definitely like it. After saying this, Yun Chutian tiptoed and planted a kiss on Yun Luofeng's forehead. Boom! At this moment, Yun Luofeng felt as if her head was being pricked by a needle. A powerful force directly rushed into her mind and filled her body with strength. After Yun Luofeng felt this force, she hurriedly sat down cross-legged. At the same time, lightning appeared above her head. Chapter 2139. Boom, boom, boom. Intense thunder rumbled. Yin Luofeng had already released his azure wings while he was sitting down. He immediately leapt up and rushed above Yin Luofeng's head, blocking the rumbling thunder that came crashing down. This time, the heavenly lightning was fiercer than anyone else's breakthrough. This was also the first time everyone saw Yin Luofeng's breakthrough. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was the end of the world. The lightning tribulation lasted for an entire night before gradually fading away. The next day, when Yin Luofeng opened her eyes and felt the endless power in her body, she couldn't help but stand up and stretch her legs. She asked, "Tian, how much of this power do you have left?" Yin Chutian blinked and shook his head. "No more. I've given it all to Mother." "Mother, can you bring Tian to battle with you?" "Tian can definitely help Mother." At this moment, Yin Xiao had already walked to Yin Luofeng's side. After hearing Yin Shutian's words, the two of them looked at each other. "Mother." Yin Shutian was afraid that Yin Luofeng would reject him, so he hurriedly held her hand and said pitifully, "Although Tian doesn't remember anything, Tian won't be a burden to Mother." Yin Luofeng pondered for a moment. She originally wanted to reject Yin Chutian, but then she remembered that Yin Chutian was given to her by Zhu Qian, so he definitely wasn't simple. Thus, she gently nodded. "All right, then let's go together." Yin Chutian smiled. Her smile was even brighter than the sun. She rushed into Yin Luofeng's arms and hugged her waist tightly. "Mother, Tian likes you the most." Under the morning sun, Yin Chutian's little face was flushed. Her eyes were as bright as the stars in the night sky, shining with a dazzling radiance. Yin Luofeng lowered her head and looked at the petite and cute little girl in her arms. A smile also appeared on her face. If she could predict what would happen next, perhaps she would regret bringing this girl to the spirit god continent. Unfortunately, Yin Luofeng didn't know anything. Spirit god continent, the ancestral dragon clan. Below the dragon altar, the members of the ancestral dragon clan were all tied to the pillars. All of them glared at the attacking human cultivators with furious eyes. Yu Tian and the other three stood at the very front of the humans and looked down at the group of furious dragons. Their lips curled into a mocking smile. "You better pray for that woman, Yin Luofeng, to hurry over. Otherwise, your ancestral dragon clan will be completely annihilated." Yu Tian smiled faintly. His white robes fluttered in the wind, and his sage-like appearance was hateful no matter how one looked at it. Long Yan's roar was filled with anger. "Yu Tian, Feng Yongqing, Kong Feng Ling, Wei Xiang, if you dare to kill our ancestral dragon clan, I, Long Yan, will not let you off even if I become a ghost." "Become a ghost? Ha ha ha." Feng Yongqing laughed. "That's if you have the chance to become a ghost. Just now, we had already prepared our soul fires. Once these flames appear, your souls will scatter, never to be reincarnated." Feng Yongqing gritted his teeth as he said the last few words. His gaze became sharper as he stared coldly at the group of ancestral dragons tied to the pillars. Fear flashed across Long Yan's eyes, but he didn't show it on his face. His hands were clenched tightly by his sides, and his entire body was trembling. He was clearly infuriated. "I will give Yin Luofeng one more day. If she doesn't come by today, I will kill a citizen of the Dragon Clan." Chapter 2140. Long Yan's anger surged. Unfortunately, the difference in power was too great, causing the Dragon Clan to be forced into such a passive situation. Yu Tian, back then, the Dragon Clan had already left the human mainland and was forced into this corner. "Why are you still unwilling to let us go?" Long Yan's heart was very heavy, and he could not suppress his pain. These damned humans, they were really going too far. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for helping Yin Luofeng. Therefore, you reap what you sow today. The corners of Yu Tian's lips curled into a slight angle. His brows were calm, and his words were completely emotionless. It was as if he was talking about something unimportant. Long Yin simply closed his eyes and did not want to waste any more time talking to them. Apart from him, the rest of the Dragon Clan citizens all looked terrified, and their eyes were filled with panic. Time was racing against time. Soon, the deadline given by Yu Tian had arrived. Seeing that Yin Luofeng had yet to appear, Yu Tian's gaze swept across the area and landed on a young dragon who had yet to reach adulthood. "Bring that child to me." The young dragon was a little boy. In human terms, he should only be around 3 or 4 years old. He was still at an ignorant age. When he saw the group of humans walking towards him, the little boy burst into tears. "Mother, save me, save me." Even though he was still young, he knew why these people had come to capture him. Instantly, he flailed his limbs in panic, and tears covered his adorable little face. "No!" A woman who was tied up next to the little boy cried out in panic. She wailed at the top of her lungs, "Don't touch my child. If you want to kill me, kill me. Don't kill my child. I beg you, my child is still young. Please let him go." However, in the face of the little boy's cries and the woman's pleas, the humans were indifferent. It was as if in their eyes, this little boy was no different from a chicken or duck waiting to be slaughtered. In the end, the little boy was brought in front of Yu Tian. His large eyes were filled with terror, and his little body trembled uncontrollably. "Kid, you're going to die." Feng Yongqing took 2 steps forward and grabbed the little boy's collar, dragging him in front of him. "However, you must remember that the person who caused your death was not me. It was Yin Luofeng." Hua. By the time he had finished speaking, Feng Yongqing had already unsheathed his long sword. The light from the sword flickered with a piercingly cold light, contrasting with the little boy's panicked expression, making him look even more cold and merciless. "Enough!" Long Yin suddenly opened his eyes, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. "I am second only to the clan leader of the Dragon Clan. If you want to kill, it's better to kill me. Don't touch the children of our Dragon Clan." "Kill you?" Feng Yongqing coldly laughed and said disdainfully, "Don't worry, you will die sooner or later. However, you won't be afraid in the face of death. I don't like killing without fear. On the contrary, I like this little guy's expression very much." He carefully observed the fear on the little boy's face, and the smile on his lips grew wider. At this moment, because of the intense fear in his heart, the little boy was unable to cry. He opened his eyes wide and looked at the demon like Feng Yongqing. Long Yan's body trembled. In the end, he closed his eyes helplessly, not daring to watch this cruel scene. However, the hatred in his heart was even more intense, as if there was a raging flame burning his heart. Chapter 2141. I'll count to 3. If Yin Luofeng doesn't appear, I'll make this Dragon Clan child bleed on the spot. Feng Yongqing raised the long sword in his hand. His expression was cold and grim as his sharp gaze fell upon the pale little face in front of him. There was no sympathy in his heart. 1, 2, 3. He counted very slowly, but it was like a hammer smashing down fiercely. The child's mother cried, even more heart-wrenchingly, as she struggled to break free from the ropes binding her. The despair in her eyes would break anyone's heart. "There's no need to wait, kill him." Yu Tian swept his cold gaze across and spoke indifferently. "It's just a dragon. To humans, what's the difference between that and an animal?" Feng Yongqing did not waste any more words. The long sword in his hand slashed down from the sky towards the little boy's head. The little boy forgot to cry. His face was in a daze, as if the entire world had stopped at that moment. His mother fainted immediately. The other clansmen could not bear to watch and closed their eyes. However, it was undeniable that their bodies were trembling violently. This trembling wasn't caused by fear, but by rage. As long as they were given the chance, they would definitely make these humans who had come to the Dragon Clan die a horrible death. Clang! Suddenly, Feng Yongqing's sword seemed to have received a heavy blow, causing his sword to slow down for a moment. It was also at this moment that a figure in a black robe streaked across the sky, charging towards Feng Yongqing with a loud bang. Feng Yongqing gently narrowed his eyes in the face of this sudden attack. He did not retreat. Instead, he took 2 steps forward as the corners of his lips curled into a sinister angle. Boom! A powerful force spread from the two of them. A strong wind rose and lifted the man's black robes, making his expression appear even colder. At the same time, the little boy, who had been in danger, was pulled over by an arm and fell into a warm embrace. The joy of survival left the little boy dazed for a moment before he burst into tears. He cried as he left the woman in white's embrace and ran towards his mother, who was still tied to the pillar. The child's mother heard his sobs and slowly woke up. When she saw that the little boy was still in one piece, she could not help but burst into tears. "You guys are finally here." Yu Tian looked at Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao, who were standing in front of him. There was a faint hint of arrogance between his brows. "I had thought that you would be too afraid to come to the Dragon Clan. I never thought that you would really come." When Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao appeared, the other experts of the 7 continents also rushed over under the leadership of Hong Luan and Yun Xingya. Those people ignored Yu Tian and the others and hurriedly rescued the ancestral dragons that were tied up. Uncle Long Yen. Long Luo quickened her steps and asked with tears in her eyes, "Do you know where my father is?" "Eldest, miss, you shouldn't have come back." Long Yin sighed. "Although your father is not here now, his life is not in danger. You can rest assured." So what if Yin Luofeng was strong? How could they deal with Yu Tian and the others? Their return was tantamount to sending them to their deaths. Long Yin stopped talking. "I'll get someone to save you first." Tears welled up in Long Luo's eyes. The rope that bound the ancestral dragon was made of a special material. This rope could restrain the power of the ancestral dragon clan, making it impossible for them to break free. Chapter 2142. No need. Yun Luofeng wiped the blood from the corner of her lips and curled her lips. "All these years I, Yun Luofeng, have encountered many enemies, but I've never failed. It's the same this time." She raised her eyes, and her gaze was determined. Her white robes fluttered in the wind, and she was as beautiful as a painting. "Mother!" Yin Chutian stood at the side and clenched his little fists tightly. His large, bright eyes were filled with worry as he stared unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng. Very soon, Yin Luofeng and Yu Tian were fighting in the sky again. The crowd could only see the clashing figures in the sky, but could not completely capture their movements. "Stop!" Suddenly, an angry voice rang out from the side. This voice made the people in the sky stop. Yu Tian and the others in particular, their eyes were clearly filled with impatience. With Long Luo's support, the elders slowly walked over. Perhaps he had yet to recover from his serious injuries. His elderly face was still rather pale, but his steps were firm. "The 4 of you have come to the ancestral dragon clan to cause trouble and even want to kill people in my territory?" Yu Tian laughed mockingly. "I haven't killed you yet, because I wanted to use you to lure Yin Luofeng here. Since she's already here, there's no need for you to exist. Don't worry, after I've killed Yin Luofeng and the others, I'll bury the entire dragon clan with them." The clan leader's face was ashen with anger, and he flung his sleeves angrily. When he saw Little Worm standing in the crowd, he wanted to say something but hesitated and did not say anything in the end. "Miss Yin, this time, the Dragon Clan has dragged you down. I won't let this matter rest so easily. Even if I have to fight to the death with these people, I won't retreat." He turned his gaze towards the people in the sky, and his elderly face was filled with determination. "No." Yin Luofeng shook her head. "These people used the Dragon Clan as a hostage to force me to appear. More accurately speaking, I'm the one who's dragged you down." Indeed, if it had not been for her, perhaps Yu Tian would not have acted against the Dragon Clan. This was also why she had rushed over. "Tisk." Wei Xiong laughed disdainfully. "It's useless even if you say so much. Everyone here today must die. Boom. The aura from his body spread out, making the weaker people feel as if they were unable to lift their heads. Oomph. The clan leader flung his sleeves and flew into the void in a flash. He placed his hand behind his back and said with a cold expression, "Young Master Yin Xiao, I'm surprised by your strength. I wonder if I can join forces with you to deal with these three people?" Yin Xiao's strength was even greater than what he had seen on Spirit God Continent. Even though he was still at the Divine Lord Realm, there were similarly strong and weak within the Divine Lord Realm. However, even so, what Yin Xiao was facing wasn't just one ruler, but three. If the two of them worked together, perhaps there was still hope for victory. Even if you join forces, what can you do? Wei Xiang sneered disdainfully. The smile on his lips was filled with disdain, clearly not taking the Dragon Clan leader seriously at all. For a moment, the three of them took a step forward and surrounded the two from three directions. Yin Xingya and the others heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that the Dragon Clan leader had joined them. They focused on dealing with the enemies in front of them. The other members of the ancestral Dragon Clan also joined the battle. Hence, the originally one-sided Spirit God Continent cultivators were clearly being suppressed. Chapter 2143. In the void, smoke rose again. Yin Luofeng retracted his gaze from Yin Zhao's body. Facing Yu Tian's sudden attack, he dodged to the side and circled around to his back. But before the long sword had even appeared, Yu Tian had already reacted and raised his weapon to block. After a clear clang, Yin Luofeng felt her palm go numb. She forcibly suppressed the numbness, and her face remained expressionless. Below, Yin Chutian clenched her fists tighter, and the worry in her eyes grew stronger. She bit her lips tightly, and her face was flushed as if it was carved from jade. She looked adorable. Mother. Her gaze followed Yin Luofeng and did not move away for even a moment. Tears almost flowed out of her eyes, and her expression grew anxious. Little brother said that he wanted Tian'er to protect Mother. But what should Tian'er do to help Mother? Of course, Yin Luofeng, who was fighting with Yu Tian, did not feel Yin Chutian's emotions. Ever since the clan leader joined the battle, she had placed all her attention on the battle with Yu Tian. The Dragon Scale Armor's time limit is almost up. I can't drag this on any longer. Yin Luofeng's eyes gradually grew heavy. She gripped her long sword tightly in her hand and gently closed her eyes. After a long while, she suddenly opened her eyes and looked at Yin Xiao, who was next to her. At this moment, Yin Xiao also turned her head to look at her. The moment their eyes met, Yin Xiao understood what she meant and nodded at her. Yin Luofeng withdrew her gaze when she saw this, and then a wisp of a smile arose on the corners of her mouth. Her figure flashed and immediately charged towards Yu Tian. It was even to the extent that she didn't take any precautions at all, and she merely converged all her strength onto the sword in her hand. You're overestimating yourself. Yu Tian laughed mockingly and indifferently faced Yin Luofeng's attack. Boom! The two swords collided in the air, and sparks shot out in all directions. Just as Yu Tian was about to laugh out loud, he did not notice that a cold figure had leapt up from behind him and fiercely slapped his head with a palm. Boom! In an instant, Yu Tian's body trembled. Blood flowed from his 7 apertures, and his eyes widened in astonishment. His gaze was filled with shock and disbelief. Feng Yongqing and the rest were also stunned. Just now, they had only cared about killing the Dragon Clan leader and hadn't noticed Yin Xiao heading towards Yu Tian. By the time they noticed Yin Zhao's movements, it was already too late. Before they could even cry out in alarm, they saw Yu Tian fall from the sky, head first to the ground. A deep pit was formed in the ground. I've dealt with one first. Yin Luofeng wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth, the smile on his face growing. Now, there are only 3 left. Boom! Rumble. Suddenly, the ground beneath Yin Luofeng's feet began to move. When she looked down, she discovered that the ground was rapidly splitting apart. What's going on? She frowned and asked coldly. The patriarch was the first to react. The spirit god continent exists with the five of us acting as the heart of the spell formation. If even one of us is lost, the spirit god continent will cease to exist. So, from today onwards, the spirit god continent will no longer exist. As the patriarch finished speaking, the cracking of the ground increased in speed. Even the sky had cracked open. Feng Yongqing and the rest were not in the mood to fight. Their expressions were grave as they stared at Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao with murderous intent. Chapter 2144. Mother. Yin Chutian's frightened voice came from below. Yun Luofeng couldn't care less. She quickly rushed down and pulled Yin Chutian into her arms. She could feel the trembling body of the little girl in her arms and hurriedly comforted. It's okay, Mother is here. You don't have to be afraid. It seemed that Yun Luofeng's warm embrace made Yin Chutian feel at ease. She curled up in the woman's arms and buried her head in her chest. Yin Xiao also walked down from the void and hugged Yin Luofeng. His cold eyes were filled with gentleness, but this kind of gentleness would only appear where Yin Luofeng was. Fenger, we're going home. After he said that, Yin Luofeng clearly heard the sound of space cracking, as if the end of the world had arrived. After a long time, they fell from the sky. The disappearance of the spirit god continent did not mean that the people inside were obliterated. It was just that everything in the spirit god continent, including the houses and land, had all disappeared. After a long time, Yin Luofeng was finally able to adapt to the sunlight in front of her. She slowly opened her eyes and released the little girl in her arms. Tiana, it's okay. Yin Chutian's body trembled. Her body was still firmly stuck to Yin Luofeng as she carefully looked around. Mother, what is this place? Yin Luofeng looked down at Yin Chutian and said gently, This is the Seven Continents continent. At this moment, the others also reacted. The people brought by the ancestral dragon clan and the few leaders were fine, but the original residents of the spirit god continent did not know what had happened, and their eyes were filled with fear. Therefore, the entire city was filled with the sounds of those people wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Wu Yan! Suddenly, a startled voice came from the front, instantly attracting Cheng Wuyan's attention. Cheng Wuyan, who was originally standing beside Yin Qingya and the others, turned his head and saw a familiar figure. The corners of his lips curled up slightly. What a coincidence! Was this considered enemies on a narrow road? Cheng Wuyan never thought that he would actually see Qinggao Yi here. It seemed like she was not far from the ancestral dragon clan at that time. Otherwise, she would not have fallen into the same place so coincidentally. A hint of coldness flashed across Cheng Gaoya's eyes. She said arrogantly, Cheng Wuyan, you little bastard, why are you here? When Yin Luofeng saw Cheng Gaoya, he recognized her, but she looked at Cheng Wuyan suspiciously and raised her eyebrows. Didn't I ask you to go back and settle the Cheng family's matter? Why is this woman still alive and kicking here? This. Cheng Wuyan scratched his head. When I returned to the Cheng family, they were already empty. I don't know where they moved to. I've been looking for them for months, but before I could find them, I happened to find out that someone was besieging the Seven Continents. Yin Luofeng raised her eyebrows and looked at Cheng Gaoya. She then looked at Feng Yongqing and the others, who had ugly expressions on their faces. She did not speak. She did not intend to intervene in Cheng Wuyan's matter. Moreover, the most important thing for her now was to deal with these three old men. Perhaps Yu Tian's death had agitated these old men, but they did not make a move for a long time. They only glared at Yin Luofeng and the others with angry eyes. Chapter 2145. Long Luo. Cheng Gaoya was about to continue insulting Cheng Wuyan when she suddenly noticed Long Luo standing next to the clan leader. Her eyes widened immediately. She did not know that the people of the ancestral dragon clan were here, so she snorted fearlessly. You damn girl, how dare you show yourself? You ran away from my Cheng family that day. Now that you've fallen into my hands, let's see who can protect you. What happened in the Chung family that year was Long Luo's lifelong nightmare. Now that she saw Chung Gaoya, fear rose in her heart, and she hurriedly hid behind the clan leader. The clan leader frowned. For the conversation between Chung Gaoya and Chung Wuyan, he could vaguely guess this woman's identity. At that moment, anger surged in his eyes, and a murderous intent shot out. A cold glint flashed in Chung Gaoya's eyes. She turned to look at the old man who was shielding Long Luo, and her lips curled into a sarcastic smile. So, the person who took Long Luo away that day was you. I didn't expect you to be so interested in such things at your age. You're actually interested in a little girl. However, I still advise you to return Long Luo to me. Otherwise, you'll definitely offend the Chung family. The clan leader's brows furrowed even more, and he clenched his fists tightly by his sides. He sensed the fear in Long Luo's heart and raised his hand to comfort her little head. He then looked at Chung Gaoya with a murderous gaze. Seeing that the old man ignored her words, Chung Gaoya frowned slightly. Can't you hear what I said to you? This little girl is my slave. You have no right to take her away. Oh, the clan leader finally spoke. His old voice was dignified, and his gaze was cold. I don't know. When did my daughter become your slave? Daughter? Chung Gaoya was stunned. This old man was Long Luo's father? In other words, she was also the ancestral dragon? However, Chung Gaoya quickly regained her senses. So what if you're Long Luo's father? No matter what, I'll take her away. Oomph. The clan leader snorted coldly, and a biting cold aura exuded from his body. I'm afraid you don't have the right to make the eldest lady of the Dragon Clan your slave. The eldest daughter of the Dragon Clan? Chung Gaoya, who had been nonchalant at first, suddenly heard the clan leader's words. Her body trembled and her eyes widened. You said she's the eldest daughter of the Dragon Clan? Impossible. I asked Long Luo at that time. She said she was just an ordinary ancestral dragon. Back then, Chung Gaoya knew that the eldest daughter of the Dragon Clan had gone missing. She had also met Long Luo at that time, so she had taken the initiative to ask about Long Luo's identity. At that time, Long Luo denied her identity as the young mistress. Long Luo stepped out from behind the chief leader and bit her lip. At that time, I thought my father was going to marry me off to a bastard. That's why I didn't dare to reveal my identity. I was afraid that you would send me back to the Dragon Clan. After getting Long Luo's acknowledgement, Chung Gaoya's body trembled. The arrogant arrogance from before instantly disappeared, and her entire face turned pale. You lied to me. You actually lied to me. If she had known Long Luo's true identity, she would never have done such a thing. Long Luo looked a little sorrowful. How can you say that I lied to you? I was too stupid. I thought that you would be grateful to me for saving you. Who would have thought that you would actually lock me up and force me to spit out my blood essence? If I had not met Lady Yun, perhaps, I would have been tortured to death by you. Chapter 2146. This was a classic case of being unrewarded for one's good intentions. After all, Long Luo had saved Chung Gaoya, yet she had committed such an ungrateful act. Chung Gaoya shut her eyes. After a long pause, she opened them again and stared straight at Long Luo. To us humans, spiritual beasts like you serve us, isn't that so? Why should the Dragon Clan hide their blood essence and not allow us humans to use it? You won't have a good ending for your selfish actions. These members of the ancestral Dragon Clan would not let her off anyway, so she might as well speak her mind. Her eyes were filled with hatred. It was as if Long Luo, who had saved her life and had been imprisoned by her, owed her a debt of gratitude. Oomph. The clan leader's features were ashen. The Dragon Clan is also a living being. Since when have we fallen to the point of serving you humans? Who do you think you are to order the Dragon Clan around? Long Yin, kill this woman first. We'll deal with Feng Yongqing and the others later. Chung Gaoya's body stiffened and she gritted her teeth. Even if you kill me, you'll all die a horrible death. Her tone became shrill, and her eyes were filled with a blood-red light. Long Yan's body flashed, and he appeared in front of Chung Gaoya. His fist landed heavily on Cheng Gaoya's body with a loud bang. His fist pierced through her chest and killed her on the spot. Cheng Wuyan had not said a word. Even though he had planned to kill Cheng Gaoya with his own hands, who would have thought that Cheng Gaoya would have such bad luck and run into the ancestral dragon clan? Hence, he did not make a move and only stared calmly at Cheng Gaoya, who was lying in a pool of blood. You reap what you sow. Cheng Wuyan turned away and did not spare Cheng Gaoya another glance. At the same time, the members of the ancestral dragon clan turned their attention towards Feng Yongqing and the others. Hee. Feng Yongqing laughed icily. Actually, that little girl was right about one thing. Spiritual beasts exist to serve humans. However, the dragon clan's temper is too strong. If you had submitted to humans earlier, perhaps many things would not have happened. The clan leader clenched his fists tightly as a mocking smile appeared on his face. The dragon clan has never submitted to anyone, especially to you. In fact, many years ago, Feng Yongqing and the others had wanted to join forces to make the dragon clan submit to them. However, this old man's character was as stubborn as a donkey, so they had failed. Lady Yun, young Master Xiao, let's join forces and kill them. The dragon clan leader relaxed his tightly clenched fists. His eyes were cold and stern. He subconsciously walked to Yun Luofeng and Yun Zhao's side and faced off against the three of them. Just as the battle was about to break out, with a boom, the ground trembled. The force of the trembling was very strong, as if something was trying to break through the ground and escape. Mother! Yun Chutian hurriedly held Yun Luofeng's hand. Tian is scared. Boom! Boom, boom, boom. The sound of an earthquake instantly spread throughout the continent, causing everyone to panic. Yun Luofeng's brows furrowed. Yun Zhao's expression did not change as he held the girl's shoulder and protected her in his arms. Be careful. I feel like something is about to appear. His voice was very low, and there was a hint of heaviness in it. Chapter 21:47. Boom! At this moment, the entire ground split open and a huge winged fire dragon rushed out of the ground. Huge flames soared into the sky and covered the entire horizon with a layer of raging flames. Roar! The dual-winged fire dragon let out a loud roar, and the entire sky was torn apart in an instant. Its eyes were very ferocious, and it looked at the crowd below with a fierce gaze. Winged fire dragon. The clan leader's expression changed greatly, and his eyes were filled with fear. Why would such an ancient creature appear here? At this moment, the winged fire dragon had yet to move. It hovered in the void, and its voice was very sorrowful, as if it was calling for its companions. Yin Luofeng was silent for a moment. When I first came to the 7 continents, I heard that there were ancient beasts suppressed under the 7 continents. If I'm not wrong, these ancient beasts are from the Winged Fire Dragon clan. The Winged Fire Dragon had existed since ancient times. How powerful was it? It could be said that the power of a Winged Fire Dragon was comparable to the 9-winged Sky Dragon that Yin Luofeng had encountered before. Moreover, there were 7 winged fire dragons suppressed under the 7 continents. Even Yin Luofeng's expression darkened, let alone the others. But what I don't understand is why the winged fire dragon suddenly revived and broke free from its shackles. It must be because the spirit god continent collapsed, causing a large amount of spiritual power to flow into the 7 continents. This must have caused the winged fire dragon to revive. When the clan leader said this, his lips trembled slightly and his eyes revealed his fear. Although the ancestral dragon clan had lived for a very long time, they were still not as powerful as the ancient beasts. Against ancient beasts, he had no other choice. The winged fire dragon can cross an entire continent in an instant. If this winged fire dragon appears, it means that the other winged fire dragons have also revived. Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao. Yin Xiao, I have no confidence in this battle, but I have no choice but to fight. Yin Xiao gently held Yin Luofeng's hand, her expression determined. I'll accompany you. To accompany her in life and to accompany her in death. Roar. The winged fire dragon's roar grew louder. Soon, they could feel a scorching heat coming from all directions. The heat was like the sun and seemed to have a power that could roast them into ashes. Be careful. Yin Xiao suddenly pulled Yin Luofeng and Yin Chutian to the side. A beam of fire shot down from the sky and landed on the ground where they were just standing. A bottomless pit appeared on the ground. Yin Xiao hugged Yin Luofeng tightly. At this moment, Yin Luofeng could feel his back drenched in sweat. His clothes clung tightly to his back. Ah! A heart-wrenching scream was heard. When everyone turned around, they saw Feng Yongqing covering his eyes. My eyes, my eyes. Feng Yongqing. Wei Xiang and Wei Yongqing were shocked and quickly walked in front of Feng Yongqing. However, in the face of an ancient ferocious beast like the dual-winged fire dragon, there was nothing they could do. Wow! Some of the more cowardly people immediately burst into tears. They curled up in fear and stared at the twin-winged fire dragon in the void with fearful eyes. At this moment, the sky was burning with raging flames. It was so red that it looked as if it had been dyed by fresh blood. Roar! At this moment, the winged fire dragons in the sky finally moved. Flames rose from their mouths, and with a boom, they charged towards the ground. Chapter 2148. Everyone raised their heads to look at the flame, and the despair on their faces was reflected in the light. Whoosh! The white light rose up and was swallowed by the flame. At that moment, it was as if time had stopped and the entire ground was calm. The winged fire dragon looked at the empty ground, then at Feng Yongqing and the other two who were lying on the ground. Its eyes were filled with confusion. It seemed to be wondering where the group of humans had gone to within the illusory array. The sky was blue, the water was clear, and the environment was quiet. The clan leader and the rest were dumbfounded. They did not understand what had happened. They had thought that they were going to die for sure, but they were suddenly transported to another space. This was too unreal. The clan leader recovered from his shock and looked at Yin Luofeng in astonishment. Miss Yin, what is this place? It was clearly, this is an array, similar to your spirit god continent. Yin Luofeng's eyes darkened slightly. You will be very safe here. I want to go out and fight those winged fire dragons. Miss Yin, the winged fire dragons are much stronger than you think. If you go out, you will definitely not be their match. The clan leader shook his head helplessly and sighed softly. Yin Luofeng's lips curled up. I have no other choice. I still have my family on this continent. I should thank that winged fire dragon just now for attracting the rest of my kind here. Otherwise, I would have to worry about my family. However, even though the winged fire dragon is still here, he will leave sooner or later if I don't appear. When that happens, my family will be in danger. So I can only go out and fight. This was all she could do. If something really happened to her, and she was gone, the illusory array would naturally disappear, and the people inside would still not be in any danger. Mother, Tiana wants to go with you. Yin Chutian grabbed Yin Luofeng's hand. She was afraid, but she forced herself to calm down and looked at Yin Luofeng with her big, watery eyes. No. This time, Yin Luofeng rejected her without hesitation. Mother, Tiana will be obedient and won't cause trouble. Yin Chutian was afraid that if he let go, he would never be able to see his mother again. Just as Yin Luofeng was about to say something, Yin Zhao's voice rang out beside him. Bring her along. Hearing this, Yin Luofeng was startled. But since Yin Xiao said this, then he definitely had his reasons. Moreover, she believed in Yin Xiao. Therefore, she no longer refused and nodded slightly. If there is any danger later, I will throw you in directly. This was her bottom line. An innocent smile appeared on Yin Chutian's face. Her face was so cute that it looked like it was carved from jade, and her big eyes were bright and moving. After saying this, Yin Luofeng's thoughts moved, and he, Yin Xiao, and Yin Chutian once again appear where they were before. At this point, the ground was scorched and gave off a burnt smell. All the trees were destroyed, and even the corpses of Feng Yongqing and the other two were almost burnt to ashes. With the hatred between her and Feng Yongqing, at that time, she naturally would not care about them. Therefore, under the attack of the dual-winged fire dragon, they had already lost their lives. Roar! The winged fire dragon, who was about to leave, stopped when it saw Yun Luofeng and the others. It let out a low roar from its throat, and its slightly raised eyes were filled with arrogance and bloodlust. Chapter 2149. Then a winged fire dragon swooped down towards Yun Luofeng and the others. As an ancient beast, the winged sky dragon naturally cared a lot about its reputation. It simply disdained to attack these human ants together. Thus, only one winged fire dragon charged toward the two of them, while the others waited quietly in the sky. Yun Luofeng heaved a sigh of relief when she saw this. If all the winged fire dragons attacked together, she and Yun Xiao would not be able to handle them. However, even so, a winged fire dragon was still very powerful. Its body carried a scorching heat that would cause the enemy's fighting power to decrease slightly. Yun Xiao, we can't go on like this. There are a total of 7 winged fire dragons here. With our strength, I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on for long. Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao fought side by side, while Yun Chutian hid far away to watch the battle. Just as she was thinking of a countermeasure, she suddenly saw a figure appear in the sky not far away. It was a man who looked like a banished immortal. He was so beautiful that he looked like he had walked out of a painting. He stood not far away and quietly watched Yun Luofeng and Yun Chutian fight the winged fire dragons. Zhu Qian. Yun Luofeng narrowed her eyes. Why was he here? Looks like you've already found the thing I left for you. Feng Jin's lips curled into a faint smile. His gaze swept across the terrified Yun Chutian, then turned to Yun Luofeng. However, why didn't you use it? If you use it, these winged fire dragons won't be a problem for you. Yun Luofeng was struggling to deal with the winged fire dragons. Now that she heard Zhu Qian's words, she frowned. You've recovered your memory? Also, what is the thing you left for me? Mo Qingqing's death has indeed helped me recover my memory. Feng Jin smiled faintly. It's just that I don't want to become Zhu Qian. I'm just Feng Jin. As for what I left for you, aren't you asking the obvious? Feng Jin's gaze turned to Yun Chutian again. He looked at the girl's pale little face and said, She is what I left for you. Although Yun Luofeng had already guessed this, her heart skipped a beat when she heard Feng Jin's words. She did not think that Feng Jin mentioning Yun Chutian was a good thing. Be careful. Yun Xiao saw that Yun Luofeng was in a daze and hurriedly stood in front of her to block the attack for her. Her brows furrowed slightly as she said, Leave this to me. If you have any questions, you can ask him. Hearing this, Yun Luofeng raised his head and looked at the man in the air. What is your intention in giving her to me? Feng Jin was silent for a moment. This little girl is not human. It was a coincidence that I picked her up and locked her up. My goal was to keep her for my future successor, Yun Luofeng. Now that you are my successor, I can tell you that this little girl was born from the purest spiritual energy of the world. Her heart is the most precious essence of the world. If you consume her heart, you can immediately increase your strength to become a true god. A true god was the dream of many. Back then, Yun Luofeng had also wanted to break through to real god. But if the price to pay to break through to the true god realm was to consume Yun Chutian's heart, then she would rather not break through. Zhu Qian, since you said that her heart could make a breakthrough to real god, why didn't you use it? Chapter 2150. Zhu Qian found Yun Chutian, but left Yun Chutian to him. What was his intention? Feng Jin smiled. That smile was filled with sorrow and helplessness. Perhaps it's because I don't want to become a true god. Becoming a true god gives me endless life, but I'm alone. I might as well reincarnate. At this moment, Yun Chutian was so frightened that she burrowed into Yun Luofeng's arms. Her eyes were filled with fear as she buried her head tightly in her mother's arms. Yun Luofeng sensed the fear in Yun Chutian's heart. She caressed her back gently and looked up at Feng Jin in the void. Other than this method, is there no other way to defeat these winged fire dragons? Feng Jin glanced at Yun Luofeng, but did not speak. Seeing this, Yun Luofeng did not ask anymore. She hugged the trembling Yun Chutian tightly and said firmly, "Tianer, don't worry. I won't enjoy your heart." Yun Chutian raised her jade-like face, which was covered in tears. Really, really, Mother will never lie to you. Yun Luofeng looked down with a gentle expression. Hearing this, Yun Chutian could no longer control her emotions and burst into tears. Mother, Tiana doesn't want to die. Tiana wants to be with Mother and little brother. I really don't want to die. No matter how special Yun Chutian was, she was still a child. No child could remain indifferent in the face of death. Roar! The winged fire dragons in the void were getting impatient. Their tempers had also become irritable. Yun Luofeng looked at Yun Xiao, who was fighting with the winged fire dragons, and her expression darkened. Have you decided? Feng Jin lowered his head to look at Yun Luofeng, his voice calm. Yes. Yun Luofeng held Yun Chutian's little hand and took a step forward. I won't sacrifice someone's life to save myself. Feng Jin hesitated for a moment. She's not human, but she has emotions. She can cry, she can be afraid, and she can feel pain. Yun Luofeng raised her head gently. So, in my heart, she's no different from a real human. I would rather fight to the death than sacrifice her. Yun Chutian's body stiffened. She turned her head to look at Yun Luofeng, who was beside her. Her teary eyes were covered by a thin layer of mist, and her pale little face looked very pitiful. She remembered. She seemed to have been born at the beginning of chaos. When those greedy humans discovered her usefulness, they tried to obtain her heart to achieve their own goals. All these years, she had been on the run. After that, she was picked up by a human. That human did not harvest her heart, but locked her up. This trial lasted for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years, she stayed in an empty cell, so much so that her earliest memories had faded. She, who could speak before, had forgotten human language because there was no one to talk to. Until her appearance. Yun Chutian's tears increased and covered her entire face. She slowly closed her eyes. Over the years, she had met far too many people, and those people's greedy faces were as clear as day. However, only this woman in front of her would decisively reject such temptation. Then, for the only warmth in this world, was she willing to sacrifice herself? Suddenly, Yun Chutian opened her eyes and loosened her grip on Yun Luofeng's hand. She thought she was willing. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.